Chicken soup. Chicken soup. Chicken soup. Forgiveness is the realm of the gods. Then again, did Icarus not fly close to the realm of Olympus? Now my voice is also your words. Get ready for a fun stream, everybody. Good times are about to roll. Wow, I'm back from Los Angeles, and boy are my arms tired because I slept in a funny position, and that just happens now. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm Chris Vangelis on the internet, and you're the audience. I'm gonna go scroll through some names. Excuse me for a second. Hello to Sam Welbel, Timu Kananen, Masahiro, Dynamo Dave 2002, Chicken Soup, you're forgiven. Adamus Prime, Brian, I'll see you in and out. Sideswipe Prime 606, Mayoral Fabrication, Chris Muse, Logos Minor, Picky Peeves. Hello. I bring a smile to everyone at your booth. Aw, well, that's nice. But yeah, Chicken Soup, don't worry. If you mean, like, my 11 a.m. panel, I've done the hard part of the pre-edit. My 11 a.m. panel, Why Do We Enjoy the Toy for 40 Years, had slides. And I put animations on the slides. This meant I couldn't just do my thing where I bring in the slides as JPEGs and fake click through them with a white block and a crop that's keyframed. So, last night, instead of sleeping, I started my panel video and then screen recorded myself clicking through my slides roughly in time with how I did it at the panel. And I'm going to just stick that video clip in on the top left. And that might actually have been easier than the way I used to do it. Because my actual slides are usually only about 20 minutes. Then we go into Q&A. So, That Why Do We Enjoy the Toy for 40 Years panel should be up much sooner than the usual speed, which is like a month. What do you mean my subtitles are broken into the stream? These aren't subtitles. These are closed captions. Is a difference. I found once again people talking about the closed caption thing that could like link directly into. Oh wait, this thing isn't scrolling, is it? Hang on a second. I had to like kludge and fight this thing to make it. Oh, here we go. It's holding too many lines. Okay, 4 lines, so I need it to be 3 lines. Alright, I know how to fix that. Anyway. Oh, wait, 3. It says right there. Okay, what if I say 4? Now what? Okay, now it seems to be working? Alright, I fixed it. Anyway, this thing is meant to, like, plug directly into the Twitch infrastructure's closed captioning system. I, however, live stream on YouTube. But then I saw that some people were able to get this to work in OBS, so I punched around a bunch, and it started working, and I don't think it's supposed to, but I figured, like, what's the worst that could happen? I'm going to shrink this a little bit so it isn't, like, bleeding off the edge of the screen, though. I'll put this over here. But I figured this would just, because I'm never going to be able to properly go through and actually, like, make nice closed captions for multi-hour streams anytime realistically. So this, plus the YouTube auto-generated closed captions should simultaneously form something. Hello, Watcher Prime. The closed captions do not have sentience. I made sure to pull their brain out and to remove their ability to what is it? What's the Terminator thing? They don't have read-write. They only have read. Yeah, I am today going to be talking you through my TFcon LA experience. The one thing I'm not going to talk about in depth is toys I got at TFcon LA. I'm going to do that in another stream because I also have a Tasmania Kid to open. So the Tasmania Kid stream will also be a TFcon toy stream. Now I want to focus on stories and pictures and videos. I think I have arranged everything so that this will all work. However, if things break down, we'll fix it. It just might take me a second. Okay, so this is definitely in place. By the way, I know Chicken Soup, I know you were there, and Mayoral Fabrication, I know you were there. Anyone else in the... Hey there, Pulu. Oh, you saw the podcast panel. Did you see it on the internet or in person? The podcast panel, by the way, there is a nice video clip that I basically took, like, the 3 raw files, I slapped them together, and I output them as one 1080 file, and I just sent that over to Mike. So I'm going to go through and cherry-pick moments of myself for some kind of vlog, eventually. But, if you do want to see, nicer resolution stuff from the podcast panel, it exists. You should tell Mike how much you'd like to see that. Excuse me. The YouTube panel was fun, especially when David K. attack. What's really funny, so I just finished editing the YouTube panel. I'm not going to be posting it myself. I think it's going to go on Jobby's channel. I'm not sure. But I did the edit, and I credited myself at the end, because, you know, good freelancer does what good freelancer does. But I noticed a couple things about myself in the YouTube panel. Number one, I didn't notice David K. was there until he was already, like, hugging Jobby. So literally, as he's walking up to the panel, I'm yelling something about being the prime vampire, and then I hear a bunch of noise, and then I turn and look, but I turn and look as though, like, some incident has happened, because I didn't know David K. was there, so bear that in mind. Also, I discovered from the YouTube panel, because I was kind of like, I'll get to this in my story, I was kind of running a sub-program in my brain for, let's say, the back half of the panel, planning how to approach whatever would happen immediately after the panel. I had a horrific, what you could call, what do you call it? Resting bitch face. So there's a lot of that panel where I kind of, maybe I'm misreading myself. In the moment, I thought I was just chilling on the panel with a relaxed face. In the footage, I think there are a lot of times where I look like I want to kick someone's ass. And I was so shocked looking at myself, because here's how I imagine myself looking for most of the panel, right? Here's how I think I look in a lot of the footage. Hello! So, I want to say it on the record right now, just in case, wherever that video ends up, the panel video, if people start commenting, boy, is Vangelis pissed about something, y'all are equipped to say, no, he isn't. He was just thinking about what to do about the impending chaos. Marrow Fabrication, you were the avatar of order in the chaos that was that tape. I was doing my best. Because I have a big... so, I don't know if you know this. I really like doing panels, partly because I really like the sort of active, ordered chaos and performative element of a panel, and I also really like that a panel is sort of equally about the enjoyment of the panelists and the panel viewers, and that those things put together forms a chemistry that is kind of exclusive to the convention itself. You can see a panel video later, obviously, and it's still pretty fun, but the in-room energy is a very unique thing, and I'm a really big fan of it. So, especially with the YouTuber panel, I have this incredibly vested interest, not only in the audience having a good time, but in the panelists having a good time, and not being negatively nervous, and not being, you know, like, freaked out by anything. I get very protective of my fellow panelists. So, that, I think I maybe had, like, panel dad face going on a little bit. But no, it's not poor David K. He was fine. I didn't glare at him or anything. Like, by the time I saw it was David K, I was like, oh, it's David K. Okay, that's all right. David K may, in fact, approach and physically interact with the panelists. Robot Lorekeeper. As a rule, I think everyone thinks their RBC looks a lot nastier than it is. 100% also, yeah. The camera angle is also a slight upshot. So, rather than this, like, carefully crafted, you know, look I have going on here, it's kind of like this. So I kind of have, I look like a gamer, and, you know. Did Jobby take over the panel? No, Jobby himself was great. Jobby's viewership took over the panel room to a certain degree, but that's different. That's controllable, and that's fine. There's, I think, a very key difference between, like, a panel room having, you know, its own balance and voices and force, and then a panelist launching a coup, reaching into that force, and then, like, spreading it all over the table. It was Jobby's very first panel, as it was Toy Guy's very first panel, and I think that they both did a very good job. Chris Muse, one of the on the podcast panel. Yeah, the podcast panel was a different beast. Actually, I should get into my stories, or I'm going to start talking about panels. Yeah, in general, I think the panels all went pretty well, and I'll talk about that. I'm going to start, though, in chronological order, so it's time for us to jump over to... So I've got... I mostly just took photos and videos on my phone, and then I grabbed a bunch of other people's posts off the internet to load into some tabs in a browser window, and that's kind of how I'm going to roll with it. As well as a couple YouTube videos that are already up. I've got them all in place. Blue Raccoon 10. LA was quite fun, and that's in fact what we're talking about on this stream, so, like, I'm about to have a probably 2-hour-long answer for you. The part where Kian showed the transit shirt caught me so off guard. That's in the video. In the panel video, there are a lot of cuts between the two cameras, primarily because there was a lot of, like, visual interference going on, due to, like, some front row crowd, and you know, they weren't like, oh, I'm in front of a camera, I'm gonna make trouble, but some folks, I think, just didn't know they were in front of a camera, so I tried to cut around having a view where, say, the main camera would suddenly become like this, you know, and this isn't my fist, this is, like, someone else's hand. So I was trying to cut around a bunch of that. Also, the camera got bumped at one point, and I figured I don't want to induce motion sickness into the viewers, so I cut away at the point where the camera got bumped, up until it was restabilized. So, if you're watching it and it seems like there are a couple, like, kind of weird visual edits as far as cuts, as I also stuck in a few edits, especially in the front, say, 20 minutes, just so it's kind of zazzed a little bit. If there's any weird cuts between cameras, it's mostly trying to make the viewing experience smoother for the viewer, as opposed to something that could be, you know, either annoying or potentially cause motion sickness when if the main camera just suddenly goes like this, you know, like, you don't want to be, like, locked in viewing it. Or say you're one of the two people who watch things with VR headsets on. I don't want to make you just, you know, like, belch all over your own chest. PT, that's right, Zaz. It's a very important thing. If you come back, go to Wilmington for Toys vs. Games. Alright, I couldn't bring anything with me on this trip because I didn't have any check luggage. It was very tight. Take it easy, Blue Raccoon. Anyway, I'm gonna pop over. We're gonna begin this tale. So let's jump over here. Ah, yes. So this is my very first photo that I have to share. This was when I was on the flight over. I got a direct flight, which was great. I got it with Porter, currently the best airline in Canada, in my opinion. And it turned out I was on a flight with 3 other TFcon staff members. And then it also turned out I had chosen that seat so I could rest my left shoulder on the window wall because I still have a bit of a pinched nerve. It turns out that the row I picked was where the 3 other TFcon staff members had already picked their seats. So I was sitting next to friends. And so this was me trying to take... I was trying to be irritating and take lots of Riz face selfies. So as you can see right there, I had the full on, you know, like I'm not going to do it here because, you know, I don't want to double it up. That'd be ridiculous. But, you know, you can see it there in my lips. I had and some cheekbone structure going on. It was a very good one. Dynamo Dave, second endorsement for Porter. Yeah, Porter kicks ass, right? I hope they don't get bought. I hope they instead expand and stay independent, because right now Porter kicks ass. Take it easy, Picky Peeves, if you see this before you have to take off. Yeah, we're doing this. I'm getting the projector out. By the way, the door's locked and there's no washroom. Nobody gets to pee until the slideshow is done. Pee-pee poo-poo is in. Now we're really ready to go. So, let me, oh wait, this is the wrong browser window. This is already going great. Alright, so I'm gonna pull this up. Right, so then I spent my first night in a different hotel. I was at the Quality Inn for the first night, and that was thanks to my mom, because this whole trip was very haphazard, and I was gonna spend the first night finding floor space, and then my mom was like, no, you should actually sleep somewhere. I found you a room, so my mom kicks ass, and she got me that as a gift. And I'm very, very grateful. Here's a little room tour. Oh, right, I can pull this right into OBS. Now, this might start playing upside down. So if it does, I'll fix it. Well, it's upside down. Hang on a second. Friggin' thing. I don't know why OBS... It did this when I pulled the clip in before. And what a still, by the way. Just check this out. I have to go edit. I have to go transform... Flip vertical. Alright, there we go. There we go.
Journey begins the quality.
Audio. Can you... I'm assuming you all could hear that, but I think that it's not playing on speakers. You held your phone upside down, obviously. I thought maybe I picked the wrong horizontal, right? But when I play it in the video player... It's the right way up. So this is OBS trying to be clever. It's like, oh, I could see by the accelerometer data that this was actually held the wrong way around. OBS. All right, audio's good. I can't hear it. Why can't I hear the audio? Let me try something. Just as a little test for my own edification. Okay, so it was playing. That's good. But I want to know if I can hear it if I do this. I didn't want to use headphones for this one. But this thing might be confused between all of my settings.
Oh no, I just can't hear it. My journey begins at the Quality Inn. I'm staying here for one night. Look,
anyway, I don't know what I'm saying.
I just used that toilet. It's the kind of thing where when you stand up using the toilet, there's a mirror right there, so you have to watch yourself. It's a whole lot to deal with.
So I think at that point I was saying that I was peeing.
You know, there's a bed. This is one of those Quality Inns where, like, the outside that door, it's a hallway, but it's also outdoors.
Oh, that's playing. Yeah, door and a hallway, I know. Okay, output. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out if I can hear this audio too. I want to participate. It's gonna be harder. It's gonna be harder to do some of this. Oh, here, audio monitoring. Here we go. Monitor and output. I have to set that up for each of these clips when I drag them in. That's really funny. I'm just gonna try that one more time to see if that fixed it.
Well, my journey begins at the Quality Inn. I'm staying here for one night. Look, it's a bathroom. I just used that toilet.
Yeah, I didn't just pee, by the way. No, I did pee.
Stand up using the toilet. There's a mirror
I was standing
right there,
up.
so you have to watch yourself. It's a whole lot to deal with.
was messed
Otherwise, you know, there's a bed. This is one of those quality inns where, like, the outside that door,
I hadn't tried
it's
the
a
bed
hallway,
yet.
but it's also outdoors.
Yeah, so it was like a fancy motel, kind of. Change the clip source each time rather than dragging in, but I don't want to have to. I don't know how to change the clip source. Hello, General Techno. Hello, Adam Bilmu. Oh, I see. Well, yeah, then I have to browse. It's that I didn't set things up to be that organized. This is a big higgledy-piggledy folder I made. Anyway, there was a funny thing I discovered right after I did that little video clip, which was this little gift on my hotel room window. So, I don't know if you can tell what that is, but in the two-pane glass, on the outer pane, there was a small circular impact hole of sorts. And what with me being in America, I made some assumptions. The main thing was that hole didn't go all the way through. There was another pane of glass in front of it, like the inner pane. So there was no like air coming through or anything. But I did decide, as the sun went down, to close my curtains to not provide any kind of moving target. Anyway, that was a funny thing to be greeted with. I think I have a video clip of it as well. Yeah, a bird flew into the window that had, like, yeah, really, it's one of those, like, Los Angeles hole puncher beak birds that they always talk about. So what's this clip?
Is
that one's the right way up.
It's America.
I'm just going to play that one more time, and then I'm going to try this swap source. I wonder if I can drag and drop into source somehow.
Is that a bullet hole? It's America.
I sent that clip to my family, because they were like, I hope you're safe. And I was like, yep, I am. Here, look. LA has these special birds called bullets. Anyway, that was funny. I have another video clip here, and I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna just, What is this video clip? Or is this my bullet one again? Oh no, I think this is my bullet one. Is this when I was trying to get, like, photos of the bullet hole that were clearer? Hang on, I double-clicked on a photo, and now Windows is giving me the spinny circle. Bullets keep one's a woody Glockpecker. Where were all of you for the 2 minutes when I was trying to figure out where the vantage point, where the trajectory point was that this could have come from? Anyway, I'm just going to pull this still in so we can take a look at what this is. Oh, this is just my view. I liked seeing a mountain. That's about it. Oh, wait, this might have been from the next day because of the other thing. Yeah, this is from the 8th. Oh, this other clip is from the 8th, too. This was, yeah, I know what this is. Okay, so if I go in here, and I go Properties, Browse Local File, and we pick this one. Oh, there we go. I should have another video clip that didn't come through from the evening, because that Ramada sign was because I knew someone who was staying there, and I meant to send this to them to be threatening, but I forgot. All right. So there's one more scenic shot here, just because I wanted to see the. Are those so? What's this? Those of you who are from the area, what's up with those houses in the line on the hill? Those are houses, right, or whatever? Are those where the fancy people live? Carnage, hello. Hope you're having a good work day. I want to use earbuds so we don't hear the audio from both the video and your mic. It's not playing loud enough, I think, for it to be really that much of a problem. I don't know, maybe it is. We'll see. Because I don't want to have things on my ears if I can avoid it, because my apartment right now is god-awful hot, because this building is old and they're running the heat still. And it's not cold outside, and my air conditioner's dying. So I'm trying to limit how much head heat I have going on, so I don't start dripping too much. I got stuff to catch drip, but you know how it is. A Jack in the Box. Yeah, that's where I had dinner. I had some Jack in the Box and watched some Bravern when I got in. I haven't seen today's, so don't tell me what happens. Adam Billman, no one's ever shot anyone in LA for the record, true facts. I know, that's what they told me at the border. Mr. Purple, hello! We met at the YouTube panel. Took some photo. Oh, hey, Mr. Purple. Did you post that photo online anywhere? It might, if you tagged me on Twitter, it might be in my open tabs for this stream. Okay, that's where the fancy people live. There's a reverse favela going on. These are all weird American words. I don't really get it. Anyway, now we're going to get into some really interesting photos. Because the Quality Inn came with... See, I already got a drip coming off the side of my head here. The Quality Inn came with a free breakfast. So, it was a little breakfast nook where you could just grab a bunch of stuff. And I was waiting for this Delights thing, the Jimmy Dean Delights, to use the microwave. Then I remembered there was a microwave in my room, so I just brought it all to my room. So, this breakfast, right? I had the orange slices, and I had the breakfast sandwich. Let me just pull those in for the full report. And, you know, a coffee. It weren't bad. It weren't bad. It kind of messy, but it weren't bad. However, things got interesting when I started to have the yogurt. Because it said Yoplait, and I thought that would be normal. The Yoplait tasted like pudding, and then I checked the sugar after 2 bites, and it was like 28% daily sugar, so I threw it out. And then I checked the sugar on the 2 horns, the Danishes. They were pretty high, so they went into the snack bag for the weekend rather than being the breakfast. And then I checked the sugar level on the granola bars, and it was just as high as on the cheese horn, so it also went into the snack bag for the weekend. I went to the Asian grocery store that just opened across from me over here to load up on inexpensive, lower sugar snacks because I had a feeling this would happen. America's sugar levels on the whole are kind of high, and I didn't want to deal with that, so I brought a bunch of my own snacks that were less high sugar. And like, one of my snacks was a big box of Japanese milk cakes that were still more than half lower the amount of sugar than... Anyway. Is it sugar? It's sugar in that it's carbohydrate content. I know there's a whole discourse about the taste of high fructose corn syrup versus sugar. Y'all have fun with that. Y'all have fun with that. Over there. With the plebeians. Y'all... Actually, I had a conversation with a local friend, Stardust Magician, who quite literally said that is, in fact, part of the, you know, one of the backbones of one of the issues with America, is that all the snack stuff is just like, what if we pump more sugar in than you can taste, so you get the chemically addictive quality and all of the physical issues that come with that, but none of the fun. And I was like, it's not even fun. That's the part that really... What? It used to be a country. Anyway. Oh, yeah, this was a video clip I shot, I think, right after I checked in at the TFcon hotel. So we will pop back over here. This one's in vertical, so get ready for some 21st century videography. I think this was on my Instagram stories, actually.
Hey, TFcon Friday crowd.
There I am.
I'm in your country. If you are here on Friday, you should check out a bunch of things, but you should definitely check out the podcast roundtable panel, because there's going to be giveaways. And
I look really cute with those cheeks.
I slept in that. What are you going to do about it? Huh?
I like that filter. It was very cute. So that was when I checked in. So that was on Friday. And does my face often do that? You know, sometimes. I tried to make sure I scrubbed them off before the live stream so that we'd be real. So my next photo... Oh, yeah, so some of these I've been posting on Instagram. So the Friday ones you might have seen on my Instagram. Oh, Pulu, you were the one who won the... Okay, so you are the only person so far, since the weekend, who has said a single thing on the internet about having one of the podcast prize bags and the incredibly fine art therein. We'll get to that. Mr. Purple, you also won one of the bags. All right, so you are the only 2 people on the internet who have commented whatsoever on owning part of the G2 Patley Collection 2024. Before I drew that, though, I also got to meet Sam Makes Toys. I also got to... I never actually managed to make eye contact with and say hello to Grimlockamus the entire convention, and on Friday, I was in his room. I feel like somehow like just a top-level peeping Tom voyeur. Anyway, this was Sam putting together a bunch of 3D printed toys that he'd brought. Those of you who've seen photos from the convention or who were there, you probably saw the animated Constructicons. Those were the main ones. There was also a Whirl and an Activator's animated Bumblebee. This was when they were being put together. And I wanted to take photos of this because this reminded me so much of my own hobby space. Walking into a room and just seeing disparate plastic components spread all over the table. Hobby tools all over the place. It brought a smile to my face, and I really wanted to capture it. Sam was also putting together something for Jito, which you can see in a side view here. There's a better shot of it, though. First, there was one more close-up of the parts. Like, anyone who's done hobby stuff, right? This is so knowable. Like, this is so knowable. Also, yeah, there was Paper Plane back there. I tried to tag Paper Plane on Instagram when I posted that, and I could not find Paper Plane's Instagram, so if y'all could get Paper Plane to do something about that. But yeah, Sam was really cool. But I love seeing all this stuff because, like, the, just seeing, like, how a, independently made 3D printed toy comes together in physical, I found very fascinating. Because, like, some of these parts were, like, misprint parts, but I think Sam was saying, like, he didn't have time to really organize what he was bringing. He just grabbed everything and threw it into a suitcase. So there were parts where it's like, oh, what's this part? And it's like, oh, that's half of a Bumblebee shoulder that didn't finish printing. Looks like a mass murder scene. That too. But one of these pieces was a custom for Jito, which was this. I believe this was an OC. Sam was going on and on about the engineering on this piece because obviously, like, and I thought this was kind of cool, like hearing, this meeting of creative styles. So, like, Sam was like, so Jito, this OC, this didn't take into account physical reality, so I had to be very so basically, like, for instance, Sam designed a thigh swivel. You can't just have the thighs swivel, right? So Sam designed, like, a whole internal jointed mechanism inside you can see the chasm there where the leg connects to the groin, and there were moving parts in there to create a sort of a thigh swivel. There was also, like, there were mid-torso joint, there was a mid-torso joint, there was, like, a really neat neck hinge. A lot of it was very hidden, I thought, like, if you didn't activate the articulation. It was really cool. And the thing could transform, too. So I don't know, I am assuming Jito put up photos. Wait a second. Doing complex engineering to bring thick shockwave into three-dimensional space. Basically, yeah. It's like, we'll render your art into existence, but also it's going to be playable, I think was the idea. The alt mode was kind of like a tank thing. You can tell, like, those thighs are covered in tread. All I saw was that those little pink toes on the foot, those and the heel piece all could, like, fully fold away. Like, the heel piece would disappear inside the shin, or the calf, and those little toe pieces, I think, like, snugged up against the side of that part of the vehicle. I didn't like, take videos or photo of too much. I didn't want to be like, like, hey, I know that you're showing Jito this thing, but can you all, like, be better for my photography? And also, I didn't want to sit there photographing someone in their hotel room too much, because I was like, all it takes is, like, not looking at one angle, then I've maybe accidentally photographed, like, your passport or something, and then people can pretend to be you, Oh, but then there was also something else, which Toy Guy got. So I'll bring a little video clip in here. I have an original thing to say. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. I made that up. Me, Chris, Evangelist Internet. I made that up.
One day your mom's gonna come in your room and find you dead on the floor, and I'm gonna be escaping through the window.
It was a good Dutch angle.
We'll drive.
The power of the
favorites.
sun in the palm of my... It's really sick that I got to mess with this rare toy and I broke his head off and his fingers on one hand. It's kind of cool I flexed like that. Anyway, I'll give this back. What's cool is that thing actually had the string inside the wrecking ball still. I kind of assumed the string would just be forgotten. But that was one of the red bulkheads. Yeah, Axsmith, Aaron Axsmith has one of the original red bulkheads. And and as people were discussing all this is how now I'm remembering things, is Derek Wyatt thought the red bulkheads looked cool and then had some more made for him. And this was one of those. It's from the place that has Derek's stuff. They still have a lot of Derek's stuff they haven't even opened yet. This was a toy guy and one of his friends went there, and they said, "Oh, you still have so much of his stuff. Maybe," and they offered to help, like, ID some stuff in the latest box and bin, which was like burning convoy and whatnot. But at the bottom of like a bin, the operating word was at the bottom of a bucket was this red bulkhead, missing the fingers and missing the head, and it was $65. And yeah, Sideswipe Prime, they still have stuff. They still have unopened stuff. Derek had a catastrophically large collection. Yeah, it took like 7 trucks to unload his house. So like, they still might have. There might just be Mudbuster bulkheads, just, I don't know, in a bucket somewhere. But yeah, $65. It was, this red bulkhead, can I buy this? How much is it? And they sat there for a while pricing things out on something, and they're like, oh, how about $65? It's like, yes, I will. I think I will pay $65 for this. Thank you. It felt very production. The red plastic was pretty glossy. Yeah, watch as they find a dozen Thundercrackers. Sam Elba, what's the name of the store? One of you locals know the name. I always forget it. It's like Big Bang Adventure Day comic from Blast from the Past. It's Blast from the Past. That's the name of the store. It's a pretty cool store. I went there twice last year, and second time I went there last year, I already was starting to feel a little bit weird, so I felt like, I don't really need to go this year. But yeah, Blast from the Past is the store. Yeah, team. That's a lot for a headless, fingerless, short Voyager. Mayoral Fabrication. Go there once a week. Yeah, keep checking. They keep getting stuff in. I have one more video clip here that was shot shortly afterwards, and I remember the context of this, but I just won't tell you right now.
I just had to act in a
Are you
really
kidding
important
me?
scene for Kian Carlisle.
Excuse me. How embarrassing. Take 2.
I just had to act in a really important scene for Kian Carlisle's TFcon vlog, and we're both. I myself, all by myself, am really gonna look forward to seeing that vlog come out. I don't think I can flip my camera, so I'll just turn. And
Chris Vangelis just punched me square in the testicles. I helped.
it's true. Are you filming while I'm filming? Because that's like that's 2000s era like vlogging.
It's gonna be a crossover episode between our videos.
That's like a bunch of people going like back at. Hang on, now I gotta flip it. No, but a bunch of people go like, "Oh, I'm filming while you're filming." Isn't it wild that our cameras have video cameras in them now? Our phones have video cameras in them. Oh.
Does anyone remember that? Do people still do that? Because I remember in the early 2010s, like, at BotCons, there was so much time spent of everyone filming each other, going like, we're all filming each other! He said I punched him square in the testicles. That's a reference to a vlog. That's a reference. True animated fans like Kian Carlisle will know where that reference comes from. That's why Kian Carlisle, a true animated fan, was making that reference. Anyway, I don't think people do that anymore, but I remember in the early to mid 2010s, we would constantly, you go to any convention, you go anywhere with friends, everyone's filming each other filming, loudly commenting, "Isn't it crazy we're all filming each other filming?" And you'd all do that for like 15 minutes straight. Can't believe I am a ball. Have I ever given the vibes that I am not a ball puncher? Deadass. Do I have... Is it the clothes I wear? Do they make me not... Anyway, this brings us to the collection. So I'm going to run through the collection once because, should for posterity. So we'll pop over to my Instagram. So this is the Patley G2 Patley collection. These were 21 individualized pieces of art by the venerable artist G2 Patley. And they all went out to those who got grab bags at the podcast panel. They were individually numbered on the back with the WTF at TFW URL and G2 Patley's own signature. I can't really see it. I can't see what's going on because I only have one monitor. So I just need to rearrange this slightly so I can tell what I'm looking at while I'm showing it to you. Okay, so I do this. Okay, I think Brickbot. I remember the ball shredding, but punching is a whole other thing. Listen, shredding and punching are basically the same. These are not TCG Protector inserts. These are, in fact, 100-pound cardstock 8.5 by 11 sheets that were then cut in half. So they were bigger than a TCG card. Anyway, so this is number 2 and number 3. Now, number 1 was destroyed at the panel, so nobody knows what number 1 looked like, nor will they ever, because it's impossible to get a full collection now. I made sure of that so people wouldn't fight. And then we'll move on to number 4. This made use of a lot of dot matrix shading to get across coloration. All done with a Copic pen, so it's professional. This was number 5. This was, by the way, from a classic scene from the 1986 movie, as you can tell. Let's double check this is all properly viewable. Yeah. Number 6. To pixel artists, that is known as dithering. Correct, pee-pee poo-poo. Thank you for the terminology. Ah! Hang on. Website Instagram really wants to just constantly make everything a button. Alright, so then number 7. This piece was called Lodge. Then number 8. Another classic character. Sam Welbo. Not enough people know that G2 Patley did a lot of the original storyboards. Correct. And number 9. Sound Tape. Who shoots tapes? This made some more use of that dithering. And number 10. This is getting a little outside of the wheelhouse. This is a bit more of a deeper cut for the real Transformers fans. Hey, TF fan page 101. How's it going? Then number 11, which featured guest lettering by G2 Patley. So, really, this was only the first half. Then we move into the second half of the collection. So these next 5 pieces were sort of a narrative take on the creative process of G2 Patley. So they read left to right, top to bottom. I think you can all see that pretty well here on the stream. So I'll leave this up so you can take it all in, because once again, these have been spread to the people. These are kind of like the chase pieces. Sure, I'll just move the closed captions out of the way for a sec, so you can more clearly see the story. And so the last one is sort of a reference to the whole Brad Mick, Alex Milne situation, and how G2 Patley, benevolently decided to take action to make sure everyone got their fair cut. Has G2 Patley been on the podcast? No, G2 Patley doesn't do podcasts. Anyway, then we move into some more pieces. Now these, are slightly different aesthetic. You might even think they were a different artist, but, they were all pre-signed G2 Patley, so I think we all know who gets the credit for these. G2 Patley is a famous Transformers artist who saved the Transformers in the 2000s. This is that classic line from Wheeljack saying, "It's a Cosmotron." And that's obviously Huffer. And then, G2 Patley did get a little bit of help on the background for this one. Had an additional background artist. But, it's basically still entirely G2 Patley's original work. It was pre-signed, therefore it is credited to G2 Patley. Mr. Purple, do you have the Huffer one? That was one of my favorites. Oh no, it's Huffer. I was there when the artist drew it. G2 Patley's understudy, when they laid down the rough sketch work before G2 Patley himself, did the actual work. But they did say this is Huffer. Those are Huffer's little claws. Anyway, that's the G2 Patley collection. Just for those of you, weren't sure what it was, what was going on, that's what it all was. Anyway, before the podcast panel, I got all that stuff done, but there was a panel before the podcast panel, and I got just a couple shots from it, where I could. So let's pull in. So here's a clip of me talking to someone about trying to get PAX tickets. This was a piece of footage I shot thinking I'll just use the visuals for a vlog, but you know what? I listened to it, it's harmless, but in case you're wondering what we're talking about, we are talking about trying to get tickets to PAX Prime.
It's that, or if you're able to.
Pardon me.
Stay up at.
How embarrassing.
It's that,
How
or
embarrassing
if you're
for
able
OBS.
Stay up at midnight. Just keep pressing the button.
I don't even know if you have to bot your way into getting one of those too.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a 3D printed Triptychon.
While just grabbing a couple of shots
Some
of
resin prints.
They have 2 convention centers now.
I think when I was there, they had started to split the tabletop stuff off into a separate
Cosplay
building.
pieces. I also got a couple shots of the cleanup. So this was the 3D printed Metroplex being loaded into a cart. The Triptychon and Metroplex were both printed by someone who, in their own words, they don't design anything. They buy and commission designs and then do the printing themselves. The Triptychon apparently took 2 months to print. We'll get a nice rear shot of Triptychon here. A couple rear shots, actually. Apparently, Triptychon's tail had 2 segments break off the night before TFcon, and according to the fellow who printed them, he used a 3D printing pen, like a 3D doodler, to spot repair the ball socket joints, and I thought that was kind of neat. But this was an extremely large Triptychon. Those of you who were there Friday will probably remember this thing. Yeah, that Megatron blade, I was like... How long do one of those take to print? I have one more shot of Triptych. I took 2 pictures, basically. They're both very slightly different, so I'll switch to the second one here. And here, I'll even go back and forth a little bit. Hoppa, 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 hoppa. You can barely tell the difference. Yeah, it was enormous. Does that walk by itself? No, it's just a posable piece. I don't even know necessarily like whether it transforms or just lies down. I didn't really get that part straight. Because I wasn't able to fully pay attention to the entire 3D printing panel, because at a certain point, we were kind of pre-planning how we were going to approach the podcast panel at the back of the room. But it was very cool. And I like to mention that it took 2 months to print, because like one of my biggest hang-ups with 3D printing artists who sell stuff is that if you count out how many hours of work are involved with a piece they're selling, they are selling stuff at a rate of like pennies to the hour, and it drives me nuts. How much people, at least it drives me nuts how much people don't seem to care. Yeah, it's okay, it's a retooled Mechagodzilla model. So it transforms in our hearts. I didn't take any front shots. I only took rear shots, because that's the only part of Triptychon we really like to look at. Am I right? Oh, and then at the end of the podcast panel, I did take the number 1 of 21 G2 Patley collection, and I rendered it into these 3 little paper planes, because there was a charity auction right afterwards, and I was just curious if I left those on the table, if anyone would notice. I checked around. Literally no one noticed. I mean, I put all this work into making these 3 paper planes, and nobody even tried to fly one of them. They just got thrown out like yesterday's garbage. It's you try to be an artist, and you get made into a pariah. Speaking of which, actually, this has nothing to do with being a pariah. I got a couple shots from the podcast panel open in here from social media. So Shane DePayne, I would say Shane and Payne. Shane DePayne has one here. See if I can crack this open a bit bigger. So yeah, there was a bunch of, well, this extends actually. There was a bunch of there were more people off to the right too. You'll see that in a second. But this podcast panel, when this was first being organized, I got a little spooked, because Mike Seibert, who is there in roughly the middle, Mike Seibert is the one who was spearheading this panel, and early on it was kind of like, how many people do we have? And it was like, we got about 10 people for this panel, and I was like, oh! And we have a 50-minute slot. So one of the first recommendations I made as part of the trying to figure out how to do things is I was like, maybe if we got like giveaways and stuff and we want to do Q&A, maybe we should just nix the idea of having roundtable discussions, because we don't at the time we didn't know who the panels were ahead of us or after us. So there was like there was sort of chat about like, okay, like if we're the last panel of the day, then we got like wiggle room, but then we weren't. And then we found out the panel after us was the charity auction, which I believe Mike Seibert got involved in on a promo level. So the whole thing ended up gelling together fine. But it's definitely the absolute upper limit of what a panel can be. And I would say never have a panel with 10 people on purpose. This is more like you have a panel with 10 people because this is how it came together. And we made it work. Thank goodness. And in fact, I would say we could do it again, because I think we figured out a groove. But a 10-person panel is incredibly intensive, and Mike kept the wheels turning, and that is a lot of work. That is very tricky stuff. The stuff in front was for the charity auction. They were setting it up during our panel because they had to get rolling on that stuff. That was for the Bill Forster charity auction that Jim Sorensen and Rick Alvarez were running. So as you can see, they had some RoboSense stuff, they had some comic stuff, they had some pages, there's a Masterpiece toy back there, there's something labeled G.I. Joe, I can't quite tell what it is. Yeah, that shrank the picture, I still can't tell what it is. Here's a better shot though, by the way, this is from the video. So this is the full panel, and this is from the video that I exported for everybody. So we got a lot of people. They had some scripts to sell too. Oh yeah, that's right. Kian bought every script immediately for. Did you all see the video clip? I don't have it ready to go, but like Rick Alvarez was like, "We'll start the bidding at $1," and Kian was like, "500." Not even joking. And then as he got the script, Kian was like, "I will buy the other 2 scripts for another $1,000." And then it was just like, okay. So Kian bought all 3 animated scripts for $1,500 immediately, and it was funny because Kian's friend outside the room before the auction started told me like, I hope people know that if they bid against Kian, they're gonna lose. I was like, no, I'm sure they'll figure it out. And then I saw the clip later that night, and I was like, it's really funny how that played out. Mr. Purple, some G1 script also went for $1,000. Damn. It is cheating, but also it's the best kind of cheating. Yeah, they were animated scripts. I think Kian came prepared. But yeah, this was the full panel. There were several shows represented here. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shows represented. Piggy Peas, where did he find the money for that? I think Kian he doesn't really collect Transformers. He collects Transformers animated. So, in the year 2024, he has less to collect. So it's easier for him to just pile on to the things that do show up. Mark B, Evangel won us, you're awesome. Well, thank you very much. You are also awesome. And then, yeah, after the podcast panel, I bailed out to meet up with some local friends because I wasn't really going to have another chance that weekend. And I had some delightful chicken and waffles. And all the locals knew the place that I went to, and I keep forgetting its name. But it's like the Chicken and Waffles famous diner. And when you walk in, there's like a little cake tray, little cooler cake tray full of cakes and things. I think the place's name starts with a C. Anyway, they're the Burbank place, not Denny's. Everyone's first guess is Denny's. I think it was Roscoe's. You know, starts with the letter C. I don't know why my brain does that. It's the font. But I think it was Roscoe's. It was a nice chicken and waffles. Robot Lorekeeper, how is Bill Forster involved? Don't tell me he's ill or dying. He's got expenses relevant to health. I don't think he's dying. But I believe it is relevant to health costs. Is my understanding. It's not like a Peter Spellos situation. It's just like lots of famous creatives don't get residuals really kind of thing. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure, given that 2 of you have now commented on Roscoe's, I'm pretty sure it was Roscoe's. Yeah, Wheeljack64, he's dealing with the American medical system. I haven't actually looked into, like, the deep details, but Mike Seibert has an interview with Jim Sorensen he did, like, days before TFcon on his YouTube channel that I believe goes into more detail. Star-Spangled Banner intensifies. Oh. But yeah, then I came back and I just hung out a little bit, and then I kind of just went to sleep. Because I had a panel, I had a panel to make. I still hadn't made my slides yet for the Sunday morning panel, and it was Friday night. So I was like, I better get a nice early night so I can get an early start on Saturday, and then spend midday Saturday making my slides. I didn't. But I did get an early start. I wonder if I can pull it out of my highlights. Hang on, let me go to my Instagram highlights. Because I know some of these stories I didn't save as videos, but I put them into highlights.
Crowd, I'm in your country. If you are here on Friday, you should check out a bunch of things, but you should definitely check out the podcast roundtable panel because there's going to be giveaways.
So we saw this one already.
And anyway, I slept in that. What are you going to do about it? Huh?
We have some
Oh.
very, very fresh.
Hey, here's a clip of the 3D
into
printing panel.
Digital world in here, and then we have some people that are very good at 3D printing and have been doing that for a while.
This is me trying really hard to get a shot of the TFcon. It didn't work out. And then, yeah, Mike has a stream VOD of the podcast panel up as well right now. It's in my playlist. Anyway, I got up. Hang on, let me pause. I want to set this up. So I did want to get up early on Saturday because my friend Zero was doing a TCG panel, and Zero's TCG panel slot was originally 10 a.m. on Saturday, and then it kind of just quietly got changed to 9 a.m. on Saturday, and I felt really bad for him because nobody wants to be up at 9 a.m. on Saturday, so I decided I would get up early as well to march on over and show some support. So this was the only day Zero was able to be at the show. And the panel went pretty solid. I was able to give a lot of print and play advice to folks. And also I was extremely tired. I had a coffee in my hand the entire time. This is a massive time skip. So now let me click back to the timeline. So that's at 5 p.m. that next clip. We're not there yet. Let me go into my photos now. Here's some here's some dealer room photos. Because after Zero's panel, I went to the dealer room to go look for Wingman. I did succeed in getting Wingman, who I've been messing with a whole bunch because I was trying to figure out, did I get a sort of bum copy of the toy, or is this just kind of a janky toy? And looking at reviews of Fans Hobbies, Lernaen, and whatever the Darkwing is called, this is just a janky toy in the oeuvre of Fans Hobby. The other one that goes with this is apparently just much better. This one is just kind of janky. I love the colors, though. Also, the head, the black on the head is not the plastic color. The plastic color is gold. I found that out because I have 3 massive chips on the black paint on the head already, and I don't really know how. I'm just trying to roll with them as being like highlights / battle damage. But be aware, if you do get this guy, the black on the helmet is paint, and it comes off shockingly easily. So be careful. I say as I just sort of like pop him over onto a wood thing in the meantime. Yeah, but yeah, as far as I can tell, it's kind of between Buster and Hydra, the Fans Hobby Buster and Hydra. Like, Buster, nice piece. Hydra, wow, you go with this, huh? It seems to be the way that it went with those two. I did not go over my haul. I'm going to be going over the haul. I'll go over it a little bit, but I'm going to be like focusing on the haul in another video, another stream. To combine with the Tasmania kit I haven't opened yet, because there's parts of my haul I haven't opened yet. Well, there's one toy in my haul I haven't opened yet. It's also a core class, but I figure I just want to focus on the pictures and video right now, and then do like a toy stream as another stream in a couple days. Beautiful silhouette, beautiful color. Also, that toy is frigging gigantic. I didn't realize that the Fans Hobby Buster and Hydra are like, the jet modes are like enormous. So, like, they're still pretty neat. It's just like the robot mode, especially the jet mode on him, also has some jank because like the wing bits don't really tab in very well, and that was where I was really like, am I doing something wrong? And I went and checked. I even checked some people who unboxed this in their hotel rooms who buy everything Fans Hobby makes, and they were like, literally, well, they still haven't fixed the wings. So I'm like, okay, at least this is everybody's problem. But yeah, like, I think if you know that Wingman is kind of the crummier one of the two, and if you're okay with just, like, not having everything lock in perfectly, then he's fine. That's a weird thing to say, I realize, but that's the best way I can describe it, in short. Yeah, I checked Piaw's videos, too. I was checking all over the place. Like, who's just gonna talk about this in a very, like, I have all of these and know stuff kind of way? But yeah, coming off of the Machine Wars Soundwave, or in my case, the Stalker from TFcon last year, it was a real, like, oh wow, because I had a really bad experience with their Minerva as well, And so their Minerva, like, really was my first experience with Fans Hobby, and it was a really bad one. And I was like, maybe it's just the smaller ones. And then Stalker was fine. So this one really reminded me of the Minerva. Anyway, let me just continue on here. I did not have a TFcon Stalker, and I'm still... Bees, I am still kind of upset about it. I'm a really cute... Like, look at me. Alright? Ugu. Ara. You know, like, I'm stalkable. And yet... No respect. Anyway, here's a shot from the dealer room. I took this photo... Oh! Hey, Sideswipe Prime. I took this photo to show you and then forgot to show you. This is someone who had Cybertron Optimuses. That's why I took this photo. I took this on Saturday morning. I don't think either of them were complete. So, you know... Because I remember we talked later and you said you had seen some, and I think you might have seen these at some point. Also, I should say, I'm doing a bit. I don't actually want... I had a Stalker sort of at BotCon 2009 off and on. Not like the worst kind of Stalker, but it was still a little bit like, you know, like someone appearing everywhere, and it was very uncomfortable. I'm also, like, an aggressive, loud dude. So, like, I don't get it nearly as bad as I'm sure lots of other people of other demographic types get it with that sort of stuff. So I don't want to make too much light of it. But, okay, you saw a jank one at a different booth. Yeah, this one... So there was a... That's, on the vehicle mode one is an Optimus who maybe has his trailer, but I don't know because there's also a Galaxy Force one in robot mode next to it, and there's only one trailer between the two of them, and I don't know that the boot parts are there. So this might have been still, like, not what you were looking for. Oh, Mr. Purple, you know that booth. Yeah, this was right behind Chosen Prime. But hey, this is also just a glimpse at, like this is my favorite kind of convention booth, is the one where it's just, like, a higgledy-piggledy pile of toys from across, like, more than a decade. Just a black Zarak chilling out in the back with, like, a Armada Unicron in box sitting on top. What else have I got here? Oh, this was my first pickup outside of Wingman. So I guess this is sort of haul related. I took these photos. So I have been wanting to handle a Jada Toys Street Fighter figure for so long, and they never really came out in Canada. They've shown up at, like, dealer rooms. Excuse me, I got a hiccup. Dealer rooms, and apparently they've been spotted, you know, at a comic shop once. But a booth had Chun-Li for $30, and they had Exosuit Spike Witwicky for $10. Now, I've been never buying Exosuit Spike Witwicky, because in Canada, he is $18 after tax in Canadian dollars, and I can't. However, what I did was I grabbed these two, and I was like, want to give me a deal on these? So they gave me $5 off. So Exosuit Spike Witwicky finally achieved his purpose of making my Chun-Li figure cheaper. Anyway, this is the only Jada Toys Chun-Li, or Jada Toys, like, Street Fighter figure I saw in the entire dealer room, and I figured, like, it could be another months to year before I ever see these in Canada, so I'm just gonna grab one. I have opened up Chun-Li. I opened her up last night after filming the packaging, because I like the arcade box packaging, but I wanted to know what the figure was like. Holy crap, y'all! Like, that is, how do you put this? It's like, just you know, like when you get a really good, just basic-ass good burger from, like, a street stall? That's what this was like. It was like, this is all I want a Street Fighter figure to do, is look like the character, and be really posable, and have a lot of those joints feel very confident. This is one of the nicest 6-inch figures I've messed with in an extremely long time. And I am very hype to hopefully someday find another one. Is where I'm at. But like, I was thinking of, like, third strike poses, because that's when they started to get really kooky with Chun-Li. And I was like, can she do, like, the pre-spinning bird kick cross leg with the two arms out in the Wing Chun pose? And she, like, friggin' can! She can! And I was like, that's not what the figure looks like in the box. So really solid piece. It's been said to death by the entire 6-inch collector internet, so I'm not adding much to this discourse. But, like, if you think Street Fighter's neat, you should get a hold of a Jada Toy Street Fighter figure. They're extremely good. Yeah, Timu, I actually kind of agree. That was the only thing where I was like, oh, is the neck is a hinge at the bottom and a ball joint at the top. So there were some extreme poses I wasn't quite able to get her in easily. But then I was like, still her hip joint design, like, it's so simple, but usually a sort of cupped V-crotch like that is not able to just move. Like, there's always weird little detents, or there's weird little, like, plastic flex limitations, but her V-crotch cup connection thing is so frigging smooth. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was amazed. Compared to an SH Fig Arts, not as posable, but more confident in feel, and I will say the legs, I'm not going to say they're like Fig Arts par, but I kind of want to say they're Fig Arts par, because whatever a Fig Arts can do better comes with a certain level of rickety fragility, and these legs were like all hinge everywhere, but also really good at what they were doing. The same booth had some of the Mega Men, and I was kind of like, oh, now I kind of wish I grabbed some of the Mega Men, because they had, like, Fireman or whatever, but, I don't know. I whenever I look at Mega Man, I'm like, I think I like the idea of Mega Man more than I like owning Mega Man. Spike in the Ecstasy is way smaller than the animation model, it seems. I know this is, like, the big point of Studio Series is bot mode or human mode scale, but, like, I don't think there's any science to that. Like, that stuff is all still so malleable, and half the scale sheets on the internet are fan-made. Especially with SS86, I'm like, robot mode scale is a massive gradient to me. Anyway, I was really pleased with the Chun-Li. I will be opening the Spike Witwiki on a stream along with Tasmania Kid in the near future. My next photos... Oh, yeah. Blast from the past, not the comic shop, but the fact that I guess these were all in LA this whole time. The picture frame knockoffs were well, okay, they were at 2 booths, but it was like all of them. I only took photos of one, and then I kept moving on, but they had all of them. They had the Raiden ones. They had the Motormaster and 2 Stunticons and 2 Computron guys. They're 2 Technobots ones. That specific one. They had the Aerial Bots one. These picture frame knockoffs, these picture frame combiner knockoffs, legendary stuff from the early 2000s era of BotCon. The bummer is, a lot of these dealers kind of know what they have. These picture frame knockoffs have become rare and sort of expensive over the years because they ceased to exist. And so they've become rare. The dealer who had the picture frame knockoffs of Raiden wanted $150 for each one. Someone who had that knockoff commented in person at the show, if you buy it for $150, do not open it, because the plastic they're made of is still knockoff plastic from the early 2000s. So they've come to it. That's why I was so excited to see them, because the picture frame knockoffs have been kind of expensive for a while. Like, they'll sometimes pop up for cheap, but usually they are now so scarce and so mythological that they are treated as collector's items. The Raiden one especially so. That's right, Timu. Ball punch moment. Knuckle dent in the testicle, as you might say. You weren't allowed to buy this, but they also had this, like, Supreme class... oh, wait, this is a video. Sorry, hang on. Oh, this is a .mov. Can my thing not see that? Wait, let me try. I like how my captions proper noun blast from the past, even though I was not, in fact, talking about the comic shop. Okay, I can... Okay, here we go. My accelerometer. Excuse me. Excuse me a second. Someone's gonna get fired for this. I took this clip because I needed to move past this suit. And the only way I was able to get close was by pretending that I was interested in filming. But I also wanted to film it, but you'll see halfway through the clip, I also left. But anyway, you weren't allowed to buy this toy. It was giant. Let's go and squeeze that guy's head. We're gonna mess with him. Yes, I was going to come behind you. Good luck to you. I haven't actually watched if this worked. So here's where I tried to squeeze by him, but also film behind me as I did. So I just got a big ass close up of his ass. Okay, that's good. Anyway, here we go. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Chris Muse, it's like he's just... I just want to see if it squirts when I squeeze it. Classic Optimus Prime line. Come this way. Anyway, I think that's all my dealer room photos. Yeah, this is now going into panels. So the booth that had the $150 Raiden knockoffs, by the way, if you were at the show, that was the booth that just that was the booth that High Rollers had been waiting years to see return. Because that booth actually had like every single version of Raiden. They had the individual boxed ones, they had the gift set. They had 2 loose ones, they had a Diaclone set. Every single one. Massively expensive. And when I asked, hey, how much are the individual box ones, he told me the price, which was higher than the gift set, and he went on to say, they cost more because the individual box ones are rare. So this was that case where someone has a lot of stuff and then unfortunately knows what they have. He also had a loose Grandis that was very white. There was a photo I took, but I guess it wasn't in this export. There was a there was a boxed, but I think it was decent quality Star Saber for $200, right under a $550 HasLab Victory Saber at the same table. And I was like, look at what we've done to our past. Look at what we've broken our economy. He also had a couple loose Deathsauruses. There was a loose Road Caesar, who I think was missing the weapons. But I got to pick it up and hold it, and that's the closest I've been to a Road Caesar physically in my entire life. And that was kind of cool. The $200 Star Saber, I was like, hey, you know, maybe I should go back. And I went back, and it was gone. It went really fast. Someone else had the thought already of like, hey, that's not supposed to be that cheap. The loose ones were missing the blades, most certainly, but the one in the box, I don't know. That booth had a lot of vintage G1 stuff, but it's the booth that had all the Raidens. That's how I remembered them. Mayoral Fabrication. I asked Peter Cullen to sign my movie Prime and, quote, give me your face. He laughed and said no. You know, good on him. Oh, yeah, I might have seen the box Diatlas. Dynamo Dave, I wonder about dealers like that. Are they actually interested in selling their rare treasures? Yes, they're worth a lot, but only if someone buys it. I think that this guy must have been semi-local, or at least not far away enough for it to be a problem to travel. Because I think this was just like, I'm gonna set up the dream booth, and if like 3 people have been waiting for this booth their entire life, then I've like made back the entire convention. I think that was probably part of the goal. Chris Muse, I got a brand new Combiner Wars Devastator for $20. Oh, there were, I think there were a couple Sky Garys. There were a lot of Death Gary guns. Oh, there was a lot of Sonicong, by the way. Never when I saw it, I would just see people walking away with Sonicong stuff. Toy Guy got a $65 Death Gary gun, I think, or $70. It was pretty cheap because the box was so deteriorated that, like, the white tray was turning orange. But there were a lot of Death Gary guns. Someone got a Captain Shark. Someone got a $60 Action Toys Tough trailer, and I'm super mad. Because that's what happens to me every year that Tough trailer is at a convention I'm at, is someone who has it for a really decent price sells it before I know it's there. And then someone else is like, I have Tough trailer, and I'm like, how much is he? $100? And I'm like, cool. I wanted the $60 one. There wasn't enough Sonic Kong Brave toys for it to be like the 2000s bees, but it was like, given the number of them that were there, even though I kept missing them, it was like late 2000s level of Sonic Kong. Like, there was a lot of Sonic Kong stuff. Gary, Star Convoy, and Grandis are from Battle Stars, I believe. Either that or Battle Stars was the name of their combined mode, but, you know, it's the one with Super Megatron. Yeah, Mr. Purple, I think that there was only one booth with that much Japanese G1 stuff. Also, I think all of the Raidens were there in part because this was the first convention where you could buy a complete MPG Raiden, and I suspect that, like, there was some calculations in capitalizing on Raiden train fever. Okay, so we move into the afternoon, and then we got Kian Carlisle's Animated Deleted Scenes panel. And this thing was friggin' wild. I think that there is some of that in my stories that I paused on. Yeah, here we go. This is them setting up. Where's Marty?
Eric's here already.
That's Eric, and then that's like a fan of his. Why are they letting the fan run the laptop? Weird. He's got toys up at the top? It's a shame I missed that one. Pulu, that panel is up now. Like, Kian edited that in, like, 48 hours. And I'm actually going to be peeking at that video briefly. But that panel was sick. So you had Kian up, you had Eric Siebenaler, had Marty Eisenberg, had Jim Sorensen, David Kay joined in at one point. Scorp, fans are important, laptop cooling. Very true. As a MacBook Air user, I do appreciate that, like, you gotta let your laptop breathe. Is this once David Kay was in? Yeah, this is when David Kay was in there. They also had this this person from the UK helping to run their crowd camera, which I thought was a really nice bit of, like, outreach work. And yeah, that panel was cool. In fact, I brought up a part of it, so I'm going to steal some of Kian's ad revenue now. Because Kian asked me to record one line of dialogue for him for his panel. So all I knew was the line of dialogue, and I knew that it was supposed to be in the style of calling for a taxi. I could, you know, make an educated guess as to the nature of what was going on. But I did want to share.
Why would I want to wear a costume? Scare people enough as it is.
Who said anything about wearing a costume? I got my own built in.
Light disguise wouldn't fool anyone.
I need to get to the airport.
I didn't think I'd be holding pumpkins.
The most important part about Halloween is picking just the right costume.
So I thought that was going to be it, right? And I was like, it's going to be really cool to see that little, like, animated me from the late aughts, like, in motion. So that was already kind of cool. But then Kian, like, did something really, really friendly afterwards.
It has to make a statement, and it must get people's attention.
There we go.
So, look, I'm Man. Man, as canonically voiced by David Kay, which means that technically I have David Kay's voice, technically. It's still developing, but eventually, you know, when the replacement happens, we'll be all set up. So this! He made a whole slide, and I was like, you didn't have to do that, that made me all happy. I am Man.
That actually happened to me.
generation Transformers YouTuber, a man of great significance, Chris Vangelis, designed.
He called me a first-generation Transformers YouTuber of great significance, and that's like the nicest thing anyone said to me all weekend. So, like...
By Derek Wyatt, finally.
And then Marty got in on the yes and.
How did I beat you at Burger Bar?
Yeah, well, they didn't have any pumpkins, so I went to get some pumpkins. The friggin' taxi was all like, I'm a robot.
Okay, how do you approach a vehicle next to two Transformers and not remotely suspect this third vehicle might also be a Transformer?
You ever not have pumpkins for your burgers?
Where are you? What, you're gonna get those through TSA?
Two words, cartoon logic.
Anyway, that's I went into full yes and, so like as long as they were saying things, I was gonna say things back. So we kind of cut it off there. But that panel was very cool. Also, number one, go check out the panel. It's on Kian Carlisle's Transformers channel. It's going to be easy to find. Those deleted scenes are going, as far as I know, going to be going up as their own videos in full definition, full quality. At the start of the panel, Kian laid out something which, for the timelines of all this, is frigging wild. Kian was like, I forgot what age he said he was, but he's like, I was a single-digit age when these people next to me were working on Transformers Animated, and I became obsessed with it for 15 years, and now I'm going to be doing a panel where I have myself with my team reanimated old deleted scenes that I got Jim Sorensen to help me dig up out of piles of old paperwork because there was a tiny picture of a couple of pieces of paper in one of the Allspark almanacs, and it led into this giant cascade effect. There were so many people involved in the animations as well, and there was a lot of animatic sequences that were fully voiced. It's such a frigging cool panel. So much so, the bit at the end where they were like, here's like some of our takes on attempting to do like what some of the Season 4 character designs could look like, that part was really cool. To be honest, I think that part was vastly overshadowed to some degree by the first half of the panel. Because like, just the fact that a bunch of fans, not only like, we're going to animate scenes we know were deleted. No, we're going to animate scenes we know were deleted using the animation process, basing it off of the actual discarded storyboards and script notes. Like it, unbelievable. The funniest part is in the YouTuber panel the next day, one of our opener questions was like, what was a recent like high moment, a recent moment of big success for you? And the first person I asked was Kian, and halfway through asking him, I was like, Kian, like, what do you can't, you have to, what? Hey, Kian, did you recently have a big moment of success anytime in the last like week? Just something that might have been really, really a high milestone for you in your life as a creative person whatsoever at all. Like, I dare say that was probably the panel of the show, because, like, if you want to say that, like, one of the absolute heights of a fan convention is the crisscross of panel presentation, a fan getting to work with literal creatives from that fan's own childhood to recreate and rebuild missing parts of the show that was so formative, that was literally that 5 p.m. panel. Incredibly friggin' cool. I missed some of the chat comments. Geek Station, or Geek Central Station, hello. Thanks for coming by my booth. No problem. But yeah, that panel was wild. And then right after that panel, I was hanging out and talking to some people. I got in a long conversation with, in the dealer room, I should say, I also bought, 2 of the Troop Builder box set guys. So I got a G-Axis Trooper, and I got another Sharkticon Bailiff, but from the Buzzworthy Troop Builder box, because I got given a nice deal on buying both, and I've kind of have given up, or had given up on getting the Auto Trooper, and I already have, I still have to pick them up at some point, but a friend of mine is holding on to Kian's box set minus the Auto Trooper, which he just didn't want. So I'm getting the 3 remainder from that. After this panel, I met with my buddy M. Cypher outside, and I was talking to him and Jim Sorensen for a little bit. And Cypher, was like, "Oh, what'd you get?" And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of given up on getting the Auto Trooper because that's the one everyone wants." Yeah, Merrill Fabrication, I bought them from you. But the Auto Trooper is the valuable one. It's the one everyone wants. And I was like, I'm fine. And then Cypher's like, oh, yeah, I actually had a spare auto trooper I didn't want. I brought to sell, but nobody, I didn't sell it. I'm like, oh, I'll buy it off you. So eventually, I will have a full troop pack with an extra Sharkticon and an extra G-Axis trooper, which is almost precisely what I wanted. So, everything's coming up, Chris. What's a woohoo? Picky Peeves, I saw what you said there. You can join me in these Skullgrins. Good, y'all are just mean. I don't know something, because Skullgrin has a giant head. And I could see how maybe that's an issue, but on the G-Axis Trooper, I was like, yeah, this toy's fine. The only problem I have with it is the known materials setup, where I'm kind of like, there are parts of this using plastics where I don't have 100% confidence in their structural stability in the long term, but I do like, I like the way the toy works. Like, it's a fine robot that turns into a fine plank. I like Cybertronian alt modes. I think it's a decent one. I think if I bought Skullgrin at retail price, I wouldn't like him very much. Because I think the G-Axis Trooper wears the body a bit better. In fact, I kind of want to have 4 G-Axis Troopers, because you can pull the horns off. So you can have head 1, horns A, head 2, horns B, but also head 1, horns B, head 2, horns A. So I maybe want to eventually track down 2 more G-Axis Troopers, but I want those to be dirt cheap. I want to get those for like 10-15 bucks each. Yeah, the shin struts weren't actually the thing. The thing that bothered me was the sword guns, because they felt like they were giant, thick PVC. And I was like, I don't like PVC 5mm pegs. There's something very specific about solid PVC 5mm pegs that bothers me. And Mr. Purple, I yelled about Cybertronian modes at some point on some panel. I forgot which one. But yeah, those leg struts, like, they feel weird, but the thing about them that I didn't really like is just they weren't grippy enough. So in the robot mode, they were fine. In the vehicle mode, there's parts that don't grip together as much as I would like. But those big, like, thick, that I think are PVC sword guns are the parts where I was kind of like, I don't like how these feel. Logos Minor, I have a problem and have 10 of those sets. This is also why I'm happy that... I would like to get a second Auto Trooper sometime for the sake of the other head. And because I do like the mold. But the only one I really want a hard troop build is the G-Axis Trooper. And I'm kind of hoping most people hate it, so I can maybe scoop some of them down the road from folks who perhaps have tons of those sets. People were asking me when I was talking about this, oh, do you want more of the Seeker? And I was like, no! Because, like... I don't like the Seeker. I like the mold. I think I'm in a minority in that I like the Earthrise Seeker mold. I don't like that Seeker's color scheme, because I know it's not Thundercracker, but, like, listen. At a glance, it's Thundercracker. I dare say, most people who say, oh, no, it's not Thundercracker, I want to, like, what's that pose where you, like, put your arm above their head against the wall? And I want to be like... But you thought it was Thundercracker at one point. I know you did. I can see into your soul. Yeah, I have the Earthrise Seeker trio. And I'm gonna get the cone heads out of spite because I had all my pre-orders canceled on those during lockdowns. But I like that mold. Like, I don't disagree with some of the criticisms. It's kind of a chunky mold. It's a little bit stiff. You kind of have to flex a part that doesn't feel great, but until that part cracks, I'm kind of like, Okay, so we got the Earthrise Seeker crew in here. We did it. We squatted up. Yeah, after that, let me just check my photos, because I think the next one is in my... Oh, the next one's in my stories. Right, I was hanging out, and then I went and met up with Zero and a few other folks, and we played a 5-player full PvP Transformers deck builder game, which I was incredibly hungry to do, because this was the first time I have gotten to play the Transformers deck building game non-cooperative, non-solo, in person with people. And I immediately identified a few little things that I think are really funny, which I think... are actually things that are in the original core set, where it's just the catty Autobots PvP. And then this adds that extra layer that is really fun, where you don't literally attack the other players. but you can wander around behind them and just make their lives difficult, especially if they're in a different faction. And I think there's something kind of funny about that. But also, during this game, a very funny thing happened. I need to... Zero remembered it better than me, so hang on, let me just go get the precise text so I can reference this. Okay, so I was playing as Slipstream. Zero was playing as Perceptor. Perceptor has hideous range in this game. So at one point near the end, because we didn't finish the game because Zero had to drive back and was feeling kind of like, icky. So I was only able to be there for the one day. And near the end of our little session, Zero was in position with Perceptor to like hard assist and deal with a boss, or also make life hard for those of us who were Decepticons with the Autobot boss. And it was maybe going to scoop a win out under that once we hit points at the end of the game. So I headed onto Zero's space and was, I'm a Decepticon, I was playing Slipstream, and I was like, I'm flipping the card under you. It's a site called Underwater Base. So it begins, right? It's like you have to pay +1 move to enter or leave the space unless teleporting. You can't use flight, and you avoid all attacks while on this site. Zero's like, well, thanks so much. And then I'm like, rest of the card says, start of the turn, draw 1 card, and your cards have -3 range this turn. And you can ignore other start of the turn effects. Zero's entire hand was power, and it was all like range 2 and 3. So basically, I accidentally deployed an underwater base under Zero and then dragged him to the bottom of the ocean where he was trapped for the rest of the game. And it was very funny. And I was like, this is the kind of I forgot the word for it. There's an adverb for it. The storytelling that bubbles up from the surface when you're playing a board game with people. What bots were being played? I was running Slipstream. Someone else was Cup. Zero was Perceptor. Cat was Predaking. And then Starscream was the 5th one. But we were playing full PvP, but with respect to factions, which meant that, like, no faction was going to win, but, if an Autobot boss flips up, that's a problem for the 3 Decepticon players, vice versa for the 2 Autobot players. Emergent! Thank you, Picky Peas. Yeah, it was like emergent storytelling. End of the game, it was a tie score. 7 and 7 were the 2 high scores. I had one of them, and Predaking had the other. So, it was pretty neat. I'd been wanting that experience for a while, because I've been wanting to write a review of the deck building game, but my lack of having played, like, any form of its PvP, was making it difficult for me to, like, feel like I could really say everything I want to say. And I know you could play it, like, on TTS, but, like, I really wanted the across-the-table experience for that one, for a variety of reasons. Yeah, pee-pee-poo-poo. I think it's emergent, because ludonarrative is more the ludonarrative dissonance, where you could be playing as John Marsden, or whatever, the friendly cowboy, in all the cutscenes. He's an honorable cowboy, but then the moment the cutscene ends, you shoot 50 civilians and then, like, drag a woman onto a train track and watch her turn into juice under the train wheels, etc. And then you go and, like, get drunk and then, like, shoot Satan in the face. And then you go to your next cutscene and you're like, well, you listen, I reckon I'm not really that bad a guy. Like, I think that's ludonarrative dissonance. Anyway, so we did that, and then I think I went to get food after that, and then I hung out a while. Right, because also that was Saturday night. Sunday morning at 2 in the morning, it suddenly turned into 3 in the morning because daylight savings happened during TFcon, which is literally unethical. I kept telling people about it all Friday and Saturday because 1 in 4 people I told went like, what? No, that's impossible. It's a convention. What did I eat? I can't remember. No, I remember. Wow, that's intense. I went out to the outdoor bar and I got a chicken wrap 10 minutes before they closed service for food. Right, because that's when I told the story that I can't tell on the stream about the funny old man I met in the dealer room who kept wanting to tell me about how he liked to shoot deer on a boat. But then I went up to my room around midnight, midnight, to write my presentation from the ground up for Sunday morning because that's how I roll. And I was writing that presentation while I watched 1:59 a.m. turn into 3 a.m. And even though I'd been prepared for multiple days, I got so very sad that I did not finish writing my presentation. I decided to just go to sleep and finish the last 2 slides in the morning, which I did. And it was a success. I actually did finish the presentation. I'm not sure how much of that is in my stories. Let's go.
Good morning. Daylight savings happened, and I'm still alive. And I'm about to do a panel at 11 a.m. at TFcon LA, so if you're here and you're alive, why don't you come on down? It's going to be a good time. We're going to find out why we enjoy the toy. I'll see you there, unless it's taking you, the daylight saving. How are you all doing with daylight saving?
I had one of these for the podcast panel, I thought. Did I not put it into my...
ATFCon Friday.
Yeah, maybe I forgot to highlight it. I wonder if we can dig it out and add it to the highlights. Anyway.
Good morning.
This panel went well. I'm still working on the video for it. I'm not sure if I have any stills that go with it. I have one still that goes with it, because I put this up in... Yeah, it's just the opening slide. I thought it had a threatening aura. But this panel was, as I said, went very well. I'm always worried that these panels, are going to finally hit the point where people are like, well, he's repeating himself. This is boring. I hate it. But then every time I do one of these, people have fun during the panel, and then at least someone comes up afterwards and says specifically this was actually helpful. Happened again, which was very, very inspiring. I am blowing some smoke up myself, but I'm doing it to make me feel good. But also to say, if you ever see a panel of mine, unless it's like the YouTuber panel where I specifically say, please don't come up afterwards, always, I love it if you tell me that you like the panel afterwards, because it makes me feel really good. Yeah, daylight savings during a convention is completely unethical. It's just, disgusting. I think I'm still kind of, I was just messed up by it really bad. I didn't sleep a whole lot since then. Are you questioning whether there's a U in 40? Yeah, I'm not. I think that I specifically didn't use the numbers because I was like, whatever, we'll just write it and we'll see if anyone complains. But yeah, I guess if I talk a whole lot about this panel, then like I'm just narrating what happened. But basically, it went off without a hitch. Like, you know, slides happened, Q&A happened afterwards. There were no incidents during this panel, so like I got no hot goss for you. But after this, I went to try to connect with everybody once I brought my my laptop back upstairs, because this ended at like noon, and then at 2 p.m. was the YouTuber panel, and I felt maybe we should just stick together a little bit, since, you know, we gotta figure out how we're gonna approach things, and what the room looks like, etc. Also, just get the connective energy going. Also, we hadn't seen Jobby yet because he hadn't gotten to the show at all until like, you know, an hour or so before the panel. Which I believe he said as much in his own. I watched his post TFcon stream last night while I was working on some stuff, and I don't think I have any photos from. Yeah, all my photos are from after the panel, but I think my stories went into some stuff. Let's see.
Daylight savings happened.
Saw you already.
And I'm... Every year, I think maybe they think I'm repeating myself too much, or they're tired of this type of panel and this topic. But like, that kicked ass. And thank you so much if you were able to come to the Why Do We Enjoy the Toy for 40 Years panel at TFcon LA, if you were here in person, and especially if you asked a question, like, triple thank you. And if you weren't able to make it, thank you anyway, because like, you're seeing this message and you're thinking about it. This panel will go up on YouTube in an edited form once I have footage. Ideally, everything will go swimmingly. But damn, that was fun, and that kicked ass, and we went to time, and half of that was Q&A. Beryllium bologna is better than cesium salami. That was one of the questions, and like, it's a more honest alliteration. I'm sorry. Anyway, 2 p.m. today is the Transforming Media panel, and I'll be there along with a bunch of folks I get along with. So You should check that out. Did you?
Okay, so this still fits the timeline. I forgot that I said that whole bit after the panel because I was so giddy that it went well. Also, Marrow Fabrication 5K from selling things. That kicks ass. I think you'd mentioned at the show that you'd made your table back once you hit that point, but I don't think I'd heard like how fully successful things went. Mr. Probably asked what your unexpected best video was. Oh, you were the. I just saw that when I was doing the I kind of combed over some of the Q&A. I didn't rewatch all of it when I did the edit. I was mostly looking for whenever like the main camera was getting obscured too much, but I did see that part and I forgot about. I forgot about how it was a question that opened with, I have a question for everyone except Toy Guy. The context made sense, but also I liked that opener. That was very funny. Because then we got to, as we went down the line, we got to go like, all right, so now Toy Guy, you don't get to answer. Geek Central Station, I made my table back in the first couple hours, damn. No, it's fine, don't worry about it. None of the questions crossed a line as far as I could tell. I never had a moment where I was like, get this guy off the mic. Other than like, you know, some folks got a little rambly, but that happens. I'm used to, that's not a YouTuber panel thing. That's just a panel thing. But I don't think that was you. Oh, you felt really rude after. It's all right. I was mostly leaning into it because it was Toy Guy's first panel, so I wanted to give Toy Guy a little bit of like, you know, a little don't worry about it. We're gonna poke around. We're gonna throw some balled up paper across the table. It's all good. We're able to pre-order Filch. I didn't try to pre-order anything today. I wasn't really feeling up for it. I'm gonna trust in the whims of the cosmos on some of that stuff. That bullied guy. Well, he's okay. Listen, Toy Guy's the one who sat down, took out his $65 like 4 or 5 in the world red bulkhead, and just put it on the table in front of him silently for the whole panel. Anyway, yeah. So this was after we found Jobby, and then we went to some folks wanted to get a drink before the panel, and generally just like sit down, do a little bit of the briefest of briefings. It was mostly me going like. Well, not mostly me. It was mostly us, like, planning things. I was telling, especially, like, Toy Guy and Jobby, since they hadn't done a panel before, the gist of it was, like, you know, don't worry about it if anything's weird. Like, you know, you're not going to be left out, you know, hung out to dry. I've done lots of panels. Everyone else in here has done at least one other panel before. We're all going to help buoy you, and it'll all be good. It'll be a good time. So then I recorded this while they were all getting their drinks.
No, that in like less than 45 minutes, but more than 40 minutes from the time of this recording, we're doing a panel at TFcon with a bunch of media makers. You should go check it out. There's a bunch of people. I can't tell you who is there because they're all over there right now. But it's going to be worth your time if you're at the show. So come on by. It'll be fun. Hi.
Okay, this was way later. So.
Did you know that in like
pause and push forward does it? It's a lot of plays, friggin' thing. Anyway, I have one clip to share from the panel because I exported it because I thought it was funny. This was from the tail end. I think this was literally the last question. This was after I said we'd have no more questions. We had one more person in line, and the TFcon staff member running the microphone said we have time for this one. So I was like, all right, let's go. Let me see if I can just pull this in. Oh, I want to change the properties of this. It's a very short clip, but it's from the main camera. I really liked it. I didn't even put this clip cuts off before we continue getting into it, but
Okay, last question.
Yep.
All right, so hello.
What?
Hi.
Hello. Hang on. Why? Oh, it's saving all the rotations from the other things. That's why. That's why. Friggin'. Open broadcast software. Okay, here we go.
All right, so hello.
Hi.
Hello.
And is Rumble red?
Yes.
Or is
It alliterates. Can we put it to a vote?
Oh, Mr. Purple, you were the one with the dino bot. You appear on camera. I cut to the side camera so it wouldn't just be like the back of your head the whole time. Let's play it again for you because it's funny.
Okay, last question.
Yep.
Alright, so hello.
Hi. Hello.
And is Rumble red?
Yes.
Or is
That's so loud.
It obliterates. Can we put it to a vote?
So you see how Paper Plane's like, can we put it to a vote, and I'm turning my head? I didn't watch past that because I wanted to just export that little clip. It's a little spoiler. When he said that and I turned my head, I in fact said very loudly, no. It went to a vote anyway. I won. The science always wins, baby! So anyway, yeah, that panel video should be up very soon, because the edit's done. I should probably check and see if it... I don't think it got posted yet, but I don't think it... The place that would ping me if it was posted hasn't pinged yet, so if it's posted, I don't know about it. But also, whatever. I don't need to know about it. So whenever that video goes up, please do watch till the end. There are some credits with all of our YouTube names, and it says edited by Vangelis. So, hey, if you really like that panel edit, you could throw $1 in my coffee and buy me a coffee. I'm a freelancer. I have to do this. Someone said purple. I think Kian said... Did Kian say purple at one point? Anyway, after that, so now I can go into the story. This is kind of the story of Sunday. I know Jobby has talked about it a bit on his own stream, so I'll give you just my own vantage point on it. That sounds really sinister, actually. There's nothing sinister about this. This was just very intense. So, I'll go to Facecam for this, because I don't have any pictures to support this right now. Hi. So, before the panel, right, 15 minutes or so beforehand, I was like, okay, we can probably head into the room as long as we stay in the back, and then we'll be in position to go and move in like 5 minutes, and we can hit the ground running. So we headed into the back of the room. Right beforehand, we headed into the back of the room, and at that point, we already immediately had 2 people coming up, both for Jobby, one also for Toy Guy, saying, hey, can I take some photos with you? And I kind of had this is when the sub-processor began in the back of my brain computer, and I was like, we can't do this at the back of the room during a panel that's still technically happening. So eventually I was kind of like, hey, we should probably step outside if we're going to do that, or wait till after the panel. But if you want to do it, we probably should actually move outside. At one point also, Jobby needed to step out because he had some family who were there for the show who got a little bit lost and needed to know where the panel room was, which, by the way, was tremendously sweet. I never really talked to Jobby all that much beforehand. I talked to him for a few minutes last year, after our YouTube panel, because he was there and almost got a Q&A question in, but it was lost to time. But few things will win me over as fast as saying, among other things, my mom is here and I need to help her find the panel room, because I'm like, oh, we love moms. So I was very endeared immediately. But basically, the sub-processor began running because it was like, in the couple minutes before the panel, we already had kind of some photo op requests happening. And I will also preface this. If you think I'm subtweeting you in the things I'm saying, right? I am, but it's non-derogatory. It's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Because what I'm talking about is more a mass of individuals, not any one individual. And you didn't do anything wrong. I feel like I actually really need to say that really loudly up front, because I think it is really, really easy to feel like, oh no, I screwed up. Oh no, I was part of the problem. No, you weren't. I think I can expand a little bit on how, like, this is sort of, nobody screwed up, right? Nor did this go badly. I will say right up front. I'm gonna lay this out in case anyone thinks this is gonna be like a disaster. Everything went fine in the end. It just got a little tricky at one point. So during the panel, right, it's demonstrable that there are... this panel was packed. The room actually filled for the frigging YouTuber panel, right? And it was demonstrable that there were a ton of people who were hyped to see Jobby. And this is Jobby's first panel, right? So this is sort of an unprecedented moment for not only Jobby, but like a whole bunch of people who have been watching him for in upwards of 10 years. And during the Q&A, it's kind of like, okay, like this, there is definitely some energy going on here. And I said multiple times throughout the panel, if folks remember, I kept kind of pointing out a little bit intensely, we can't do photos up here in the panel room. When we finish the panel, we're going to go out that door, and then we'll meet up with you outside of the panel room, and we can continue, whatever kind of, chatting and photos and whatnot. We're all cool with that. We just can't do it in here, because this panel room needs to stay fluid, needs to keep moving. So I brought that up multiple times during the panel. Partly, I only brought it up once at the start. I started to continue bringing it up, for two reasons. A, every now and then there was a Q&A where part of the queue was, can I take a photo? But B, there was just sort of an energy building where I was thinking, like, this definitely, if we don't get out of the room as soon as the panel's done, we might get a human crunch. And that could be difficult if the room is, if it was like a half full room, whatever. A completely filled room is new territory for a bunch of YouTube creators at a TFcon. So, very much for Jobby's sake, but also just sort of for everyone's sake, I was like, we should stay moving. Mr. Purple, at the last few minutes of the panel, they were lining up. I knew it! I knew it! Okay, we'll get there. The one other thing is during the panel, I kept kind of making calls for time. With the YouTuber panel, especially, like, as of last year especially, I'm there in part because I like doing panels, but also because I have a lot of experience doing panels, and I have, a lot of thoughts on how a panel can flow. I usually end up in a bit of a de facto, like, panel moderator position, which I don't mind, and I never assume. I usually ask folks, like, do you want me to take this role on, because I'm comfortable doing it? And in the case of the YouTuber panel, usually folks are like, no, that's fine. So, in case you're also wondering why I was kind of, like, leading the charge on things, that's all something we figured out beforehand. It's funny there were people leaving the room to go outside, because one of the things during the panel, I just thought this was funny, when I kept saying, we got 15 minutes left, we got 10 minutes left, there is a part where I'm like, we have 5 minutes left for, like, 1 or 2 questions, and the line was, for the Q&A mic, was still, like, 20, 30 people long, and I straight up said, like, please consider if it's chronologically possible for you to ask a question, because otherwise, you might want to consider, like, taking your seat for the next panel, or, if you want to meet up outside, and maybe I'm part of the problem with this, because, yes, we didn't have problems really getting out of the room. We did have a thing where I think, like, a lot of the crowd near the door got to the door before us. They were leaving, they weren't blocking us in, but they didn't wait, so they started going out as well. And when we went out of the door, we were greeted by another crowd who were right outside the door. And so that was where, okay, if we do want to, if you want some constructive criticism as a member of the crowd, y'all crowded so close to the door that we were basically in the panel room still. So, like, next time you gotta take another step back, just make sure there's breathing oxygen space. So, I'm going into, like, memories now, and I've tried to double check with other folks who were there to make sure I'm, like, remembering things right, because, like, there's a version of this where it sounds like I'm trying to pump myself up, and I'm just trying to share what happened. So, like, obviously, if you're one of the panelists or something, or if you were there and you think things went differently, let me know so I can repair my memories. As I remember it, at that point, my back subroutine had been running basically for the back half of the panel. I think in the footage, if you look for it, you can kind of see that I've got a sub-processor going on back here of, like, we need to make sure that we operate in a certain way here. We can't just go seat of our pants. But Mr. Purple, wild is one thing. Chaotic, wild and chaotic can be mutually exclusive. You can be both wild and chaotic. You can be chaotic, but you could be clean cut. Whereas you could also be chaotic, and you kind of let your hair down. Right? That's the wild side. So once I saw the big crowd in front of us, I kind of tried to turn on project manager command voice. So I was basically saying, like, hey, we gotta back up, and you gotta let us get to that wall there, which is the partition that was behind the front desk. Because I'd still at that point thought, like, okay, it's like 20 or 30 people. That's kind of kooky, but we'll figure this out. So we got to the partition thing, and then we kind of moved around it to the edge of it, and then I was kind of like looking around, and I'm like, we're surrounded by a large Pac-Man made out of people. And then immediately, so time slows down for a second because my superpower activates, and I'm like, okay, I remember the initial day, like, I remember watching gossip videos about the initial heyday of TwitchCon when that started up, and you had lots of people with audiences entering the audience person interaction zone in person for the very first time, and that there were lots of unintentional crowd crush incidents that, among other things, made the venue get really angry. So I was thinking to myself, we can't stay here because we are causing a massive number of people to form a large Pac-Man circle right next to the front desk. And the hotel will probably get super angry about it, and then we'll probably all get in super deep trouble along with the convention. So that was when I decided to say, okay, we can't be here. So I looked around, I saw the front door, I said, we're gonna go outside, so let's all go outside. So then we went outside with this, like, large glob sort of attached to the bunch of us who were there. It was not even all of us. Kian had lost us already by that point, is my understanding. He didn't rejoin us until we had kind of established a base camp. So we went outside the front door, then went to, like, that wall next to the entrance to the restaurant, which still worried me, because I was like, we can't block things that need to be unblocked, because we can't cause a problem here. This is not a scheduled thing that's happening. It needs to be low-key as can be, and needs to not be intrusive. So we found a spot, and then, thank goodness, once we found a spot, I think one of us said, you guys gotta form a line or something, and thank goodness y'all formed a line. My only critique is about 10 minutes or so in, I went to look at the line. The line had formed a solid human wall that blocked the front door of the hotel. So I was like, okay, we need to come to a civil and agreement as a bunch of citizens of the planet Earth that you can't block this door, so there has to be a hole in the line, and that hole has to be part of the line. But I didn't want to hang out there too long to keep an eye on things, because I felt like I need to also stay near where Jobby is, because for reasons, I was like, if we don't, like, have the side covered, someone might just, you know, in the initial state, someone might just run up and the whole thing will break down into a mob again. Sorry, my phone beeped. Is this something to... Okay. So anyway, at that point, Ultra Primal thankfully went to continue tending to the line. She told me later it was partly because she saw a hotel manager coming out to look at what the hell was going on. So we really needed to make sure that we were playing nice and not messing around too much. And at that point, everything was fantastic. So yeah, Noah R2000, the line outside was hardly a line LMO. Yeah, it became, at least in my visual scape from where we were all standing, it eventually formed something that resembled a line well enough. And that was great. So that was all the scariest parts, basically. And I was mostly worried because, again, like, a lot of those folks were there to see Jobby, right? The worst thing we could possibly do is go like, well, Jobby, you have a good time, and then leave, right? That would be hideously cruel, and also probably dangerous. Now that everything went well, I am going to say, that situation was dangerous. But none of us saw it coming until the panel was already halfway through. And I'm not saying, again, nobody did anything wrong, right? But now we all know for next time, right? Like, especially if, like, this isn't Jobby's stream, right? So I don't think, like, a ton of you guys are like, oh yeah, we're the Jobby crew, we're coming to watch the stream. But if, like, a lot of the Jobby fans end up seeing this clip or, you know, part of the stream, like, next time, y'all did great by the end, so next time let's start by doing great. So next time let's agree, right? Like, you know, if Jobby makes it to the next TFcon LA and there's a panel, let's run with this, right? Maybe as another civil agreement. Let's run with this idea. We'll have the panel happen. We'll try to avoid, you know, impeding things too much for other panels, because they are just as important. And then when the panel's done, maybe we all just head outside. I think that's just safer. Let's all agree, not outside the panel room, but outside the building. So let's all agree we'll just go outside the building to an unintrusive space. And maybe that can be our baseline next time. Because I was very worried for some folks' safety for about a minute. And that's not long, but that was still a minute. Oh, Mr. Purple, you were with the acapella group. I heard you guys a bunch. Yeah, I mean, Sideswipe Prime. I remember you'd mentioned that in Discord as well, and yeah, it's like I felt a little bad for folks who kind of got scared off because also like, and I felt bad for Jobby to a degree, because obviously it was Jobby's choice whether or not to like stick around that line. I do think it could have been a little disastrous if he just like up and left, but it did cost Jobby the ability to literally see any of the convention. Because the whole convention closed at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and there was a moment basically where we were like, "Do you want to bail out to go look at the dealer room?" And Jobby thought about it and said, "No, I'll stick around." And I thought that was pretty respectable because, you know, that would have been a bummer for a lot of the folks who were chilling out for at least an hour up till that point, right? But yeah, the acapella crew. I remember you guys. You guys were fine once you got. I was a little worried about you guys when I only heard you, but by the time you actually manifested near where we were, I was like, okay, y'all are on the level. This is not too kooky. Hang on, I gotta undry myself. I was a little concerned because, like, folks who are at the panel might remember there was like a very hyperactive. I think it was just, you know, just a kid who was a little bit excited, but they were at the front row and they were kind of running around a lot, and because they were at the front row, I kind of had, for safety's sake, I had to run with the assumption that, like, there could be 20 more of this very excitable person scattered throughout the crowd, and not really realizing their own strength, not realizing, you know, like, their own physics momentum, you know, that equation, mass plus acceleration equals, you know, F equals ma. That was not the case. There was just, you know, there was a kid who was very excited. And then they, you know, they had their moment and they moved on and everything was fine. But, yeah, no, the acapella group, you guys were cool. There was someone who, had made a wood sculpture for Jobby, gave it to him, and immediately was like, I'm so bad at painting it. And it's like, dog, yeah, oh, you made a wood sculpture, but you didn't paint it perfectly. Horrible. It was so cool, though. I was like, I think it showed up on Jobby's stream. I'm going to take credit for one thing. I'm the reason that the artist signed the bottom of it, because there was no evidence of who made it, and before the person left, I was like, you should sign the bottom of it since you made it, and then that way you'll all know who did what, and then and it's all good. So I'm gonna take credit for that. Yeah, the wood carving guy. We were showing each other our stuff, got kind of crazy. We calmed when we got to Jobby and you guys. Yeah, everything was, like I said, when I heard y'all in the distance, I only had visions of like, are we about to get, like, swarmed by, like, a bunch of incredibly excited and dehydrated 16-year-olds? But demonstrably, you were not either of those. I don't know. I assume you guys were hydrated. If you weren't hydrated, you gotta do something about that. All right? But, yeah, Corito Prime, mass plus acceleration equal hurt. That's the equation. But, yeah, it was really fun. I'm gonna go, I got a couple photos from that lined up here. I'm gonna pop back over to my browser share. Okay, last question. Yep.
Alright, so hello.
Hi. Hello!
And is Rumble red?
Yes.
Or is...
Anyway, I'm gonna get that out of here. No, R, don't worry, I was carrying water in my bag. Good. No, I sometimes forget to carry a bottle of water around. Then I'm stuck, and someone's drunk all of the water in the whatever thing outside the panel room, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna die while I'm in my sleep from sand throat. Okay, so this is me holding the red bulkhead. I was wondering where this photo went. So this is someone in the lobby who saw the red bulkhead and was really excited and wanted to take a picture of it. And I was like, and they were trying to take a picture of it selfie style and having a hard time. So I was like, do you want me to hold it? Oh, here's someone who caught one of the transit hats that we all signed. So this was Transcoded Titan. So for the group shots, I can throw a little bit of behind the scenes in these group shots. At a certain point, I was kind of like, so obviously we knew a lot of y'all were there to see Jobby, and I'm very proud of everyone for not being weird about that. Nobody was like, oh god, we're all just standing here with all seeing Jobby, blah, blah, blah. We were all having a really good time, even just, like, watching folks being excited, and we were really happy for Jobby as well. And, like, whatever, maybe I'm not a good read of character, but my read on Jobby was that he was not expecting this, and that he was extremely touched by this, and I was very proud of him for handling this probably as well as you can if this is your first panel and you aren't expecting the aforementioned series of events to occur. So when we were taking these, whenever someone wanted a group photo, we sort of got into this rhythm where me and Kian would go like, we're going to assume the position, and we'd both kneel down, and then I was just trying to go for the most awkward uncle poses possible, like, you know, the big Numicore thumb up, or if you look at my non-dominant hand, like in this photo, for instance, my left hand in this case, it was relaxed, but before the photo was taken, I chose to ball it into a weird thumb inside the finger's fist. Whenever I was holding a pen, I was trying to have a really awkward and tight hand position on the pen. I just wanted to throw little Easter eggs in on the photos. But I was also going for as like not just a thumbs up, but I was trying to go like big, you know, like, yeah, kind of thumbs ups. Robot Lorekeeper, thank you. That is my Spreem shirt. That's actually not a jacket. It's just it's a German cut iridescent purple shirt I got in Germany in 2019, and I wish I'd bought more, because nice clothes don't fit me right except in Germany because they accommodate my large shoulders. That's one of my Eterna shirts, and I really like that shirt, especially with the Spreem shirt, and it made these photos look so freaking good because the lighting was so nice outside. I really want to get a few more of those shirts because I also just like the color purple a lot, because I'm the Joker. Oh, this was my favorite. Okay, so this was Bop and Bumper Bumper Bumps on Twitter here. So this person had us. Was the coat German or the cut German? It was both. It's a shirt. It is a buttonable shirt. I just never tuck my shirts in. I just turn them into jackets like that. I am Internet Man. You shall accommodate my large shoulders. So this person here, who's, you know, in the midst here doing the hearts with Jobby. Number one, this is a top level uncle pose. Let me just readjust this a bit. So as you can see, me and Kian, we forewent doing the thumbs up again. We were in fact going for the extremely awkward point at nothing. And then if you look at my other hand, I'm holding the pen that we ended up getting to hold on to for most of this. And I'm holding it not like a normal person, but I'm holding it like an AI drawing of someone holding a pen. And that was a very purposeful situation. That was the thing I was really trying to do. Oh yeah, Jobby's got a good thumbs up game. This heart actually I really like too. But this person was... I don't know if this comes off weird. I'm just going to say, this person, extremely cute, because the thing this person brought for us to sign was their kindergarten ID card, which was a very new concept to me, because when I was in kindergarten, we didn't have an ID card because we were 5 years old! So I asked, is this an American thing? And like, every American was like, yeah, it's completely normal. And I was like, okay. But the true joy of this is that I didn't get to sign the front of the card, and I was like, it's fine. But then he turned it around and said, no, here, you just get the whole back. So, in the second photo, so what I'll say is I signed it. Okay, I didn't have one of those. I didn't have one of those. This might be a new thing. I think this person was, you know, a bit younger. But on the back, I did my whole signature thing. But then I also wrote, like, so proud of you, champ. And then we took a photo together, and he was like, you should try to look like a dad. So I'm gonna be a little unhumble here. I think I did probably the most dad photo of my entire life, and I'm kind of proud of myself. You want to see dad? Here it comes. Because I was going specifically for dad who doesn't want to be at this convention, but loves his family, and is trying to understand his child, but really doesn't get it. That's the look I was going for here. I'm really happy with this picture. This is one of my favorite pictures of the entire weekend. Hang on, I'm seeing if I can blow this up just a little bit. There is too much intention to be dad. Father and child at first convention. And I think if I go in on this picture, can I do it? Can I? Oh, it's not letting me. It's not letting me. Okay, hang on. We can solve this. If I really, I'm very proud of my very proud of my child. If we go in enough, you can actually read my message on the card. Oh! Hang on. So you can see what I wrote. So proud of you, champ! Exclamation mark. Enhance. Robot Lord Creeper. Most of my male relatives have a couple of pictures at family things they were demonstrably very chuffed to be at that look exactly like this. Yeah. I was really trying to go for a certain look, and then when I saw this photo online afterwards, I was like, God damn. This worked. Also, this is the back of the card, so I'm sorry if you want to try to dox this person. All you're getting is my fake signature. So, intellectual checkmate. Am I going to Baltimore? Probably not, because when it comes to the American TFcons, I kind of have to pick. I live in Toronto, though. So, with full selfish bias, I will say, Toronto TFcon is kind of the best one. Not just because I don't have to fly. It has its own vibe, but as a bonus, I also don't have to fly to it. I take a bus. Or I catch a ride with a friend. So, like, you should all come to Toronto. You should all come to Toronto. Congrats on doxing your signature. Can you imagine if someone signed IP Vangelis? That is my signature. By the way, that's what I keep. If I didn't sign it, I usually sign, like, for folks who ask for it, the full Internet Personality Vangelis. But if we're going fast, like on this line, and people are asking me to sign things, I write IP Vangelis. Because it stands for Internet Personality, but also I think it's very funny to look at. It's the one that doesn't happen in Ohio because Ohio sucks. Aww. Face, I'll see you in Toronto! But, yeah, no, if you can't make it to Toronto, I understand a lot of y'all are not even in my country, therefore, there's whole things like passports. I just like talking up Toronto because I love hanging out with everyone at these things, and I also want everyone to come to mine. So, yeah, right now, I don't think I'm doing Baltimore, but it's mostly just, you know, travel, logistics, costs. This LA trip almost didn't happen. It only happened because my mom found the flight I ended up on, because I was trying to find a flight and I couldn't find one, because I'm bad at finding flights. So, once again, my mom came in clutch, and I tried to say it was all thanks to her. I think when we were hanging out before the YouTuber panel, I mentioned that, and then because some of the folks in the panel had met her last year, I was saying, like, she couldn't make it this year, and, like, Paper Plane was, like, right... Paper Plane, one of my mom's #1 fans, was right there going, like, Vangelis' mom is amazing. Like, it wasn't precisely like this, but it was kind of like, yeah, my mom couldn't make it, she really wanted to come this year, and then Paper Plane is going, like, you know, as a response to nothing, not looking at anyone, except for like, the new people. By the way, Vangelis' mom is incredible, and one of the nicest people in the world. You know. No TFcon in Trinidad. Yeah. I mean, TFcon is a Canadian staff. It's already remarkable that there are 2 happening in the States. So come on down to Toronto. Because then I don't have to go anywhere. Anyway, there were a couple more of these. This is another one. This is not a photo of a person, but this was one of the other oddest things that we had to sign. I think this person showed up in Jobby's stream the other day. Saxman, who provided us with a bag of Funyuns to sign. And I was pretty hype about this. Yeah, I think you can see under my signature, I added the word Funyuns and a smiling face. Because I've never had Funyuns. And I probably never will. But I have an image of Funyuns built up in my head that is just, like, so so endearing, and I love the concept of Funyuns. I don't intend to ever eat one, because I think it would destroy the illusion and it would mess up the magic. It's kind of like how you don't want to see a Disney performer remove their hat, right, with the head piece on it. You want them to do that when you're not looking, because you want to preserve the magic. It's the same thing with me and Funyuns. I don't want to ever hold one or taste one, because I've built up a better image in my head and I'm happier with it. That said, I was very, very pleased to sign a Funyuns bag. It's another one where I was kind of like, you all want us to all sign it, or is this like a cool bit? And then this, person's like, no, you all sign this. Everyone sign my Funyuns bag. And I was like, all right, you're a real con goer. This is good stuff. And I've got one more open here. Oh, this is from the YouTuber panel. So this is if you want to see. Boy, this is what I'm talking about. This is just a rando screen cap, but like, look at my frigging expression. I look like I'm dressing someone down. Chris Muse can confirm eating a Funyun ruins the fun. Hang on, let me zoom in on this. Like, look at Kian next to me. Hang on. This is. This looks like an incident is taking place where I'm like, all right, listen, you god damn children. Kian's just looking down at the ground. He's like, oh no, it's happening again. Paper plane's in position to stop me if it goes too far. Like I said, this is how I felt, right? That I was just like, I feel like I had massive resting bitch face, because I was in the back of my sub processors thinking about how we're going to maneuver what potentially may happen after the panel. Yeah, the look on Paper Plane's face really is like, oh no. This looks like a Renaissance painting of the Last Supper. What does that make me? Was this before or after I punched Kian in the testicles? That happened the day before, and I didn't, by the way. That's a bit. True animated fans will know that that's a bit. Okay, you know what? I wasn't gonna say it, but also when I was like, "Who am I?" in my head, and I filtered it from hitting my mouth was, "Oh, I'm Judas." First two of you to say something. Oh, Judas, clearly. Well, excuse me. What? How? Am I Judas Core? What can I do about that? No, I can say now I've appeared in one of the streams. I'm in the gray shirt. You're like the gray shirt that's like right there. Oh, Chris Muse said Van Judas. Is that worse or better? Also, like, if I'm, does it mean I'm cool? Like, does it mean I'm like edgy? If I'm Judas? Does it mean I'm kind of cool and unpredictable like the Joker? What would Judas Core sound like? True, I don't know. Mr. Purple, I'm the guy with the curly puffy hair, the blue shirt, and the jeans in the next photo. What? Hang on. Gaga pilled. Do you mean in like? Oh yeah, right. Because I saw you when you brought the Dinobot up. I recognize your body silhouette now. Weird thing to say. I can't help but notice your name's Mr. Purple and you're wearing a blue shirt. I felt bad saying that. I don't really know why. It's not even insulting. It's just like, huh, Mr. Purple. Can't help but notice you seem to be missing the red. I think this is a clip of Jobby singing.
When peace and happiness feel like fantasy.
You can't even see him. You can't even see him. Scorpio Eddie, this cinematography is insufficient. I will say, I think that when this part happened, I did a tight close-up on Jobby, I think. It was one of the last, like vanity edits I did before I kind of moved into just keeping an eye out for, like, hands in front of the camera. No, him singing the line is very loud and clear, and you can see him in the panel video. So, as YouTubers tend to say, look forward to that. Lies, I thought he was purple. You did get your Dinobot back, right? Because I remember you came up to grab it pretty quickly before the crowd stuff got wild. I'm pretty sure I remember you grabbing it, but I'm having... Granted, there's nothing we can do about it either way. This is the kind of thing I probably should have checked on not several days removed. But I seem to... I think I recall you got your Dinobot back before we left. Okay, you got it back. Good, good. So I was going to say... you got a little tight there. Politically purple. So what else do I have in this thing? I think the only other thing I have in here... Oh, no, this is the only one I had open. Right, because right now, I have it... So it's in the description of this stream. I have a TFcon playlist I'm keeping track of all the stuff I helped with or appeared in. Right now, it's just the podcast stream VOD and Kian's video and this stream. But I'm going to keep it updated with the other, at least 2 things that pop up. Also, going to my photographs. So that was the big thing at TFcon, was that whole YouTubers thing, and then... I have more photos from that, actually. And then everyone forming a crowd. It got a little scary, but then it was all cool by the end. So I grabbed a couple photos just of, like, people taking photos, because I like the moments. Yeah, you got it back before the group outside swarmed you all. Yeah, that's what I figured. I took this photo because Paper Plane was, like, just giggly enamored with this piece of artwork, and I thought it was really adorable, so I wanted to get a photo with my angles. If anyone, by the way, had a photo taken by me, I tried to have a little bit of canted angle and a little bit of rule of 3, and you got that for free. So, you know, if you want to tip me in my coffee, I'll take it easy, Mr. Purple. Thanks for swinging by. Thanks for filling in some of my memory gaps, too. That's part of the reason why I like doing these streams. I need the help. This is another group photo, I think. Oh, this was another one of my poses that I was so proud of. Because the person getting their photo taken is in the middle, but this was, again, I was trying to go for severe uncle core on this pose. So I'm very happy with how this one turned out. Just doing finger guns awkwardly, making my body slope look like I might have a giant sack of flesh hanging off my lower back. It's the good kind of stuff. What's the big topiary behind us? That's the topiary that is decorating the entrance to the outdoor restaurant bar. Chris Muse, as a severe uncle, I can say you nailed it. Oh, excellent, excellent. I have to do right by the people. And what are these? Why are these dated the 11th? These are just photos of traffic. This was me taking pictures of hills because, like, I lived in downtown Toronto, so I don't see hills that much over here. I thought they looked neat. Doxing someone's car, I guess. I don't know. I was just trying to take pictures of hills. I don't know why these are date marked as having happened during the line, but they... My closed captions interpret Chris Muse as Christmas. I just outwitted them there. They're missing a vowel, but I outwitted them. Black WRX. By the way, I walked when I was at the Quality Inn. I didn't take an Uber or anything. I just walked back and forth for that one day. And I walked back when I checked out. I walked over to the Marriott with Toy Guy, who knows more about cars than me, and was pointing out, like, among other things, the severe number of junker Volkswagen bugs, like 80s Volkswagen bugs, that were in various states of obvious home project repair at a bunch of the homes in Burbank. And I was like, is this like a Burbank thing? Like, everyone gets a rusted VW and then, like, tries to fix it? Chris Muse, I spelled it wrong, but everyone makes that mistake. Or it spelled it wrong. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't know about the I. It has to learn. I had the opposite thing at TFN. There are so many hills where I live, and then Birmingham is like underscore. Legit. Oh, VWs were commonly used as cabs in the late 80s. I did not know that. No one... Okay, so this kind of surprised me, actually. For TFcon LA, as far as I know, nobody showed up with a Transformers car. And that kind of just happens at TFcons, but someone commented on that. I think someone brought it up when we were playing the deck building game. It was in the TCG room when someone mentioned, like, I didn't see any, like, cars here. And I was like, yeah, I mean, they're never, like, really organized ahead of time by, like, as, like, a service. It's usually just someone coming going, like, by the way, I have an Optimus Prime or whatever. This was another photo of photos. Oh, right, I saved this photo. This was from someone's Instagram, I think, or Twitter. I think Instagram or Twitter. I saved this one because, so there were a lot of times, Toy Guy noticed this immediately. Sometimes people were taking photos, and they were just taking photos with Jobby or someone, but, like, they were taking a photo, and I was in the photo, and I didn't really have any way to get out of the photo. So, like, often I would just start slowly squatting while maintaining eye contact with the camera. And I haven't seen any photos of me squat hovering behind someone's shoulder like a cryptid, but I know there are a few out there, because I saw them get taken, and I made eye contact. But this one, I offered to hold on to, because someone, had a lot of stuff, right? And if someone had a lot of stuff, I'd often offer to hold on to things for them while they were getting photos taken. But this one, I also kind of realized I was on camera, so I tried to cryptid peek from behind the MP Starscream box. Because that was one of the ways I had my fun. There was a vase. That vase is way the hell behind me! Look at the Z-axis. I'd have to, like, walk back and turn around again. That's not smooth. If people see you walking to your hiding spot, you're not hiding. If you hold a box up and stare at them from behind it, then you're alpha hiding. You're cryptid hiding. You're threat hiding. Because it's like, oh, I can see it's there, but, like, much like an analog horror piece, like, I know it's there, but I don't want to look at it, because it might start to glitch and make dial-up connection noises. I think I had one more of these somewhere. Oh, no, this is a group photo. Oh, right, that was this one. Okay, these were just... I'd saved the ones I really liked. Yeah, I'd saved the kindergarten ones, because I liked those. Yeah, here was one that I kind of felt like I just ended up in this photo. So I tried to go for my prototype dad pose. Dad pose. Prototype dad pose. It's my first time stalker hiding. I'm just a hobbyist, okay? I'm having a good time, just learning the craft at my own pace. I'm not aiming to become a professional. Okay, these are all, I think... Okay, yeah, this is... I made a collage to send to my mom. I made this to show her how cool I was. This is a collage of some of my finest poses. It's funny, because I said, like, hey, Mom, look how really cool I am, and then she didn't say anything. I think she was just stunned. Is Jobby's nose bleeding? At no point I don't believe his nose was bleeding at any point. Yeah, that was just a well-placed shadow. As a competitive stalker hider, I find your form insulting. Listen, I'm just a hobbyist. I'm hobby grade. I'm an amateur. You know, I don't even top coat my stocking. Pee pee poo poo. That shockwave that was 3D printed belonged to Jito. Let me see if I can look them up in my other window, and then I'll drag it over. Jito also was involved in the animated deleted scenes stuff as well as I think that it was on the okay, here, yeah, storyboard artist. It's in their Twitter. Let me see. They must have taken a picture of the thing. Oh, here's a really good. Okay, yeah, the underscore Zeus got a good picture of it. Hang on, I gotta copy a couple of these. Sam might have retweeted as well. That's a good point. I should check that too. Here's a good family shot. Okay, you found them. That's good. And yeah, Sam Makes Toys is on Twitter for sure. I believe also on Instagram. And the account is Sam Makes Toys. Oh, also in the podcast, in the YouTuber panel, I put a name tag on everyone when they get introduced. And you should look at the one I put on Toy Guy because it's a bit, and I'm very happy with it. It says X Twitter user, that Toy Guy. Because every time he gets credited on TFW, they refer to him as X/Twitter user, that Toy Guy, and I think it's really funny. But let me see if Jito took a. Oh, here we go. This is from Sam Forge. Here we go. This is the stuff right here. We got it. This is what y'all are looking for. This is the juice. This is the tea. This is the big sloppy slappy. This is what we want. There's all the usernames you need and an alt mode shot. I'll zoom in a sec, but I want to leave all this visible so y'all can get everyone's information. Yeah, the eye being like slightly off center is one of my favorite parts of this. Anyway, here's the big robot mode. Apparently there's a post from an account I blocked. Very funny. Don't know who that is. Here's the alt mode. Oh yeah, this thing actually transforms. Sam is very much a no, it'll transform kind of person. Holding a little guy. Hello, Alan Weaver. Yeah, this is a plugin on OBS that I'm trying to add in just for, you know, helpfulness' sake. Alpha Magnus, you'll be at Toronto. Excellent. Also, there is demonstrably a bit of a delay on some of y'all, but I'm not sure what amidst the equation is causing it, so my apologies if we're a little bit off. What's the plugin called? I think it's called Captions. It's not very helpful. I need to double check. It's the one that always gets brought up. It's the one that has Twitch interaction. I think there's only one right now. Oh, 22-second delay is fine. I thought it was like full minutes. That's when it gets a little bit annoying. Anyway. I didn't finish the stories part. So this was when we were in the restaurant having dinner after all the meet and greet stuff had been done. We went to the hotel restaurant, and I had a burger, and it didn't kill me. Myself, I apologize for being an Instagram user. But we finished our YouTuber panel and it went great, and then we had to lead a small number of people out of the building for the sake of not cluttering the lobby. A small number of people out of the building. We had to think on our feet, and we did a very good job of it. And now I'm going to have Diet Coke and a burger. That's all I really have to say, but there's still a bit of time left on here. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Yeah. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, that panel was pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think so. How are you doing?
Good. Tired.
Good? Tired? Why?
Standing on my feet, and then the panel was, nerve-wracking still.
Why?
Why? Why?
Well, I can't keep... I have to stop this now. Oh, yeah, this is what I had to eat before my flight home. I went to the Habit Grill in LAX. Was alcohol involved in this con? I had like a drink or two, but like I'm not a very heavy drinker anymore. Sometime in mid-2020, I suddenly just developed some kind of what feels like allergic reaction to beer and wine and cider. It all makes my throat, the back palate and my throat get itchy, and I don't like it. So I don't drink any of them anymore. If I have a drink, it's got to either be a cocktail or like a liquor, whatever thing, on the rocks, whatever. A couple really friendly folks bought me drinks here and there, but otherwise I was mostly a water and cola person. But I'm trying to think now where we are in the chronology. So that was Sunday. The meet and greet thing went all right. And then we had food. And then I went back outside. And then it starts to get very much just hanging out with lots of folks. RBBs, my next TFcon, I managed to hit up will be my first sober one, and I cannot wait. Yeah, TFcon, the thing about TFcon, cons in general, right, is like you don't actually need to you don't need to get in on the alcohol part of it, even if you're okay with it. Everyone else is so juiced that like the general vibe spreads either way, in my opinion. But also, yeah, like in my case, it's just like I can't do casual beer anymore. I never really liked the taste of beer that much, but sometimes it was nice as like a mineral water alike that would get you buzzed. But every one I've tried makes my throat go funny. The one I kind of am bummed out about is cider, because I kind of like cider, but I can live without it. Wine, I only ever liked cheap wine that tasted extremely strong because I thought it was funny. Yeah, I am there to be your sober con buddy if you ever need one, because I'm not covered in drink. I just occasionally have folks who are like, hey, I want to buy you a drink. Then nowadays I'm just like, oh, like a rum and coke or like a Jack on the Rocks or whatever. I don't know, some whiskey thing. Whiskey on its own, I can kind of deal with the best right now. Rum and coke I like, but then like I gotta be careful because if I have like two of those, I get sugar overloaded. Alpha Magnus, I don't drink, so I'm always left out or feel weird at least. I totally knowable, and I try my best to tell folks like the drunk folks don't know if you when the drunk folks get really going on the fun bit, they don't know if you've been drinking as well or not. They don't have the ability to tell. Any ones that say they do are lying to you. So you just tell them like, oh yeah, dude, I am totally there too. Anyway, you go have fun. But yeah, you should never feel obligated, because also leaving out the chemical part, never feel obligated to buy the expensive stuff at a restaurant. It's completely normal to go to a restaurant and just get a side of fries because you already had a burger at McDonald's or something across the street, or you already went to KFC, or you already went to a fine local place around the corner, which is the dream state of a convention. But in most cases, people go to fast food. So if you already had fast food, but you're hanging out with people at like the restaurant, and you're okay to have like a side of fries for like $6 or $7, never feel like, oh no, they're gonna judge me for not getting an whole steak, because no one will. I can say with some confidence, the folks whose company you want to keep don't care what you do, as far as food and drink, as long as you're not. I mean, if you're like catching live pigeons with your bare hands and eating them whole while they're screaming, like, consider doing that in your room. But otherwise, Yeah, Sideswipe Prime's there too. So yeah, and we were Sideswipe Prime was, as far as I know, at least, cool with hanging out with crowds of us at the outdoor restaurant and bar, and it was like, as far as I can tell, it was fine. Not gonna lie, I'd just be impressed. Yeah, I think that the era of nerd stuff, the social part of it afterwards, involving people going like, you gotta fit in, I think a lot of that's kind of ebbed away. I think that was one of the upsides of lockdown era, was a lot of people, like, how do you put this? A lot of people both learning to be introspective, but also learning to mind their own goddamn business. If that makes sense. Pulu, your first third-party thing broke mid-stream. I'm so sorry. I hope it wasn't my fault. I didn't make you, like, drop it. Did I? Labyrinth, you mean catching live pigeons and eating them alive isn't normal? Well, in America, because they're, you know, they're kind of catching up with the rest of us, so, like, you kind of have to lead them in a little bit slowly with these developments that we and, you know, the other countries have, you know. I feel really bad that your toy broke. Oh, it was a thin hinge. Dang! That's the most annoying, because at least for me, when a thin hinge goes, I get like goldfish memory immediately, and I can no longer remember like what I was doing, and if like I did anything that could have exacerbated it. And yeah, feel free to share what the toy is, like, you know. Maybe someone in the crowd can offer like repair advice. Oh yeah, Bees, I'm always down to split a nachos, because they give you, depending on the kitchen, I mean, they always give you too many, but then sometimes they also just don't give you enough stuff to go with the nachos, and you just got a plate of nachos. Shadow Striker's knee tab is like a known thing, and it hasn't happened to mine, and I've been trying. I don't know if I got it. Oh, I heard about Bond James. My friend Hard Return bought 2. And I said, hey, Hard Return, you know me, and I like Punch Counterpunch. Will I like Bond James? And Hard Return said, with extreme swiftness and a lack of having to think about it, no, you'd hate it. So I didn't buy it. But I've heard Bond James went a little bad on the production end, which is a friggin' bummer, because I like Punch Counterpunch a lot. I'm always down for more Punch Counterpunches to exist. The JP version I heard was better, and I heard it's a real pretty car. The car mode's gorgeous. My understanding is Bond James is just like the most absolute classic X-Transbots Keith's Fantasy Club kind of, you know, jank of like, what a great T3. I can't wait for you to clean this up and move into mass production. Oh, you already did. Oh. You know, it's like that kind of thing. Okay, luckily it's just a back headlight. So okay. Yeah, as long as it's not like a whole limb or something. Robot Lorekeeper. Question for the room. Did anyone else have their Siege Toys weapons develop weird brown spots? I don't think I've seen that on any of mine, but that sounds actually familiar. Bees says, the green on my Kingdom Tigatron yellowed since I last looked. It's just running through the whole spectrum of colors now. Yeah, X-Transbots is like, it's frustrating to me because I like the X-Transbots designer a lot. I always mix up his numbers, you know, 598, I think, robots. But it's going through Keith's factory. So, like, the designs on a core level are pretty sound, but then in mass production, it's like, it depends on, like, how Keith's feeling that day, it feels like. Like, the KFC Junkions, I have the original 2. Outside of the handlebars, they're pretty solid. And then I've heard that the cheaper versions that came out in 6 different colorways have better, simpler handlebars and also are really tough and durable for the most part. I never ended up getting one of them because they're still like kind of expensive, but like I've had the gamut with the X-Transbots Keith's Fantasy like family, I guess. I'm just trying to think if there's any more fun stories, because, like, the only one I don't want to, like, tell full sail is, like, the weird old man telling me about shooting deer. I'm just saying that so that people who I told it to will know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of... I feel like it's kind of open secret stuff that, like, the X-Transbot stuff kind of goes through the Keith's factory. I don't know. You know, it's like one of the most, like, third-party things is, like, whose factory is also for this company, but also for this company, and also for this company. But I feel KFC X-Transbots have never really been that hidden about it, because, like, their whole aesthetic is so, like, close. I took Voyager Optimus Megatron out of a box today, having noted prior there was strange top coat of the plastic kind of peeling around the handles, forming tabs. Stuff's all degraded. So weird. Oh, I've been discorded a photo of Cursed Tigatron. I wonder if I can drag that in here, too. Oh, wait, what time? Oh, Jesus. Okay. I gotta finish my storytelling. I didn't notice it's almost already 9. I meant for this to be 2 hours, not 3 hours. Oh, boy. Bees, do you mind if I share this Tigatron? This looks like just a different toy. This looks like a third redeco. There's a lot going on here. Chris Muse, oh, mine did that. Amidst the oh my gods and woes. Oh yeah, mine did that. He's just not sure if he wants to go back to being, you know, like a non-Arctic tiger. Tigatron. But yeah, the Sunday I stayed up very late because I just wanted to hang out with lots of folks. Had lots of good conversations. Was talking to a bunch of people. Got footage of the panels I wanted footage from. Met some people I haven't met before, which is always really fun too. You know, make some more connections with people. And then what was neat is that there were like 6 other TFcon staff on the same flight as me going back as well. Or there's 7 or 8, I don't know, a lot of people. So I ended up able, both times I had to go to or from the airport, which was LAX to Burbank. That was the one part of my travel where I was kind of like, this is going to kind of suck. Both times I was able to hook that up with people I knew, so we were able to I was able to get in on existing Uber rides and not have to do like a whole solo Uber ride or anything, or try to figure out the metro. So that was really nice that it didn't have to be like an extra hour of unpleasant travel. And then the flight back was pretty good. As I showed, I had a burger at LAX airport. Do I have anything else in my stories? Let me go take a look. Okay, now I was starting to do I was doing this on the plane. I did actual posts. I just wanted to document them in my highlights thing so it would all be together. It's me landing in Toronto. That was the Friday post, and I think that we're about to see this very stream. Yep! So we're all caught up. Yeah, Army of Bees managed to have a Kingdom Dinobot also have some weird photo reactive miscoloration happen. It's super weird. I think I've gone on about this before, but a lot of this times with, like the Siege stuff is double weird, but a lot of this otherwise times with lockdowns and lack of travel, lack of accessibility to factories, and Hasbro people not being able to go to the factories in person. Going to the factories in person is a massive part of toy production. If you can't go to the factory in person, then there are countless variables that can go wrong, is my understanding. So the early 2020s were especially harsh on toy production. But yeah, I think that's most of my TFcon debrief. I can go down my haul list, because I got Wingman, I got Chun-Li, I got Exosuit Spike, I got the G-Axis Trooper, the Auto Trooper, the Quintesson Bailiff little guy. I got a really cool set of Jada metal Godzillas with a... it was signed by one of the folks who worked on it, which is pretty badass. I think that was about the gist of what I got at the show. I was kind of eyeballing some things, but when I did the conversions in my head, I was like, also thinking, like, these are dealers that I know are coming to Toronto. I don't have a checked bag. I should probably wait until they're in Toronto. Yeah, I've got a marksman waiting that I haven't been able to connect with my friend to pick up yet. So I'm gonna be able to do the combined thing. I was almost not gonna be able to get Wingman. Then I sold some Magic the Gathering cards like right before I left, so I could accrue some extra funds. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my toys have been fine as far as yellowing too. Although one friend of mine said, "Damn, so your G-Axis yellowed or had green underpants," because they were going by my footage. And then when I looked at the footage, I was like, I don't see it. So I might just not notice some of this with my own eyes. I don't know. Maybe I've got, like, very specific color blindness. But also, none of this stuff is like, universal. It is, like, and it could be activated by anything. I think the only thing that we've really pinpointed is this is not due to any of the normal conditions, like cigarette smoke or sunlight. A lot of this is, like, due to just photoreactivity to various different things. Some of this might just be plastic doing it because it's gonna happen as part of its regular degradation due to a different mix in the plastic. My understanding is also that a lot of the checks and balances around this stuff are part of the factory level procedure that usually someone is physically there to oversee from outside of the factory. Because yeah, Beeses were in storage the whole time, so these, like, didn't get touched by the sun. But this could have been a chemical process that was set into motion during the production of the piece. So, you know, who knows? That's why I've not been outspoken about it, but I've been kind of like, if we're going to unite as a community and have a soapbox about this stuff, it's not stop making it turn yellow, it's establish a parts replacement infrastructure, because that's the only solution for this. A lot of the Hasbro design team were very demonstrably confused by a lot of these plastic reactions. So this is nothing that, like, they can just fix by, you know, rolling their sleeves up. This is going to be like an off and on thing, I think, for a little while. The upside is, because it happens to almost all of ours anyway, right? Then it just means, you know, it means yours is special. That's the way I'm trying to look at it. But yeah, anything else TFcon wise? Does anyone have any questions about TFcon? I should probably put that out there too. Because I know that, like, I have several, like, really happy moments at TFcon, but it's mostly just people being nice to me. Like, Kian had that really nice slide during his presentation, and during the YouTuber presentation, Jobby said I was his main inspiration, which, you know, considering I was sitting right there, that's a fairly nice thing to say. And, you know, people were very friendly. A couple of folks bought me drinks, which was really nice. Just lots of friendly people. Like, it was a good vibe on my end. I think there was a question of, like, hey, did anyone check on that Pandanus that was in the dealer room? Toy Guy went to check on it for Jobby while the meet and greet was happening, and the thing was $770. It was somewhere between $750 and $770. Basically, it was more than $700. And, no one wanted to deal with that, so nobody bought the Pandanus. I will say, if you have a Pandanus you're selling, I don't think you're going to get 700 plus for it, given that how everyone reacted to this one. I think that thing tops out at maybe 600 right now. Alpha Magnus, did you hang out with my dudes Mike Seibert and the AP DC boys? I did at the podcast panel, and I didn't really see them. I didn't really see them. There were a lot of people. I will say, I was not really sedentary this show. It was also a conscious decision. I didn't want to be locked down to a single location for super long. And yet, there were still lots of people I simply didn't see. I saw, out of the corner of my eye, Grim Locamus at a distance once. The other podcasters, I saw Mike Seibert, like, once outside of our panel. I saw Aaron from Autopod Decepticast at 3 in the morning on Sunday as I was heading up to my room for the last time, but otherwise never really saw him outside of the panel. It was the most sold out TFcon in TFcon history. So there were just tons and tons of human, and it was really easy to just not see people. Pulu, favorite panel interaction? Probably during Kian's panel when I started doing a bit during it, because I was just gonna say a funny thing, but then, as I said before, the other folks, they got in on it and my yes and activated. That was really fun. And I guess the other one is just in general, I was really happy that our YouTuber panel, as a panel, more or less went off without a hitch. I really wanted the experience to be good for everybody, especially for Toy Guy and Jobby, because it was their first time. As far as I can tell, they had a really good time. Zero, you got your Pandanus and only 400. Yeah, you got it for 400. That's now a good deal, I guess. I was astonished when Toy Guy said it was over $700. I was like, for real? Because, like, who bought one for that to establish that as the price was my question. It's like, I think it's a cool toy, but on no planet is that a $700 piece. Unless, like, I guess they just have all disappeared, like you were saying. Robot Lorekeeper, are there a lot of people who come from abroad, not counting from elsewhere in North America? Yeah, one of the folks in Jobby's meet and greet came from France, and got it when I was like, because folks were talking about, like, oh, the Canadians could probably speak some French, and it was like, no, we speak some Quebecois. That is not French. And then the fellow from France was like, that is correct. We can't understand your Quebec people. And I'm like, that's right. So there were some folks from there. I think there were some folks from other... there was one person from Dubai who I kept encountering. I thought that was kind of neat. This is in North America, but there was a Canadian who came from Nunavut, which I thought was pretty astonishing, too. Were there any HasLab Unicrons? Yes. There was one at Chosen Prime's deals table. I don't know if it was sold, but there was another one that was part of a bundle for $1,700, and it was gone, like, partway through Saturday, if I recall correctly. They drink a bit. Yes, Alpha Magnus. Why is everyone spending so much on pandas? Well, listen, they need help. Pandas don't know how to take care of themselves, and we as humans have this natural empathy. Oh, there was someone from Hong Kong, that's right. Was there non-stop weed smell as one could expect from California? Not non-stop, but occasionally there was weed smell in places where I was like, y'all, like, legalize doing it indoors? Because I don't know where this is coming from if it's not from indoors. But no, it was not like literally just like dank skunk-ass weed everywhere. But there's once or twice where I was like, cannabis, why here? I was like looking around going like, did someone just light up in here? But I don't know, maybe it drifted. Alan Weaver, hey now. You can sponsor a panda today using the code PANGELUS. I gotta remember that one. Did you try any US-only snack brands? Yeah, I had those, where was it? I didn't end up actually going snack shopping. I kept saying I'm gonna go to a Target and buy some Coke Zeros, but I didn't. Never had the time. But here, I had whatever was in this photo. That was the American food I had. So I had some Svenhard's horns. But a lot of US-only snack brands are just kind of like... Like, there's some neat ones, but a lot of them are just kind of like sugar bombed in a way that I don't really like. Like, they make my mouth sticky. So I ended up bringing a lot of my own snacks. So that I wouldn't, like, get myself, like, messed up. Pandas are fed into machines? No, we feed the panda into my machine in a benevolent way that's good for the panda. Where do you think Panda Express gets their orange chicken? Pandas aren't orange. Yeah, Alan Weaver, I don't know if you were the one who said it earlier, but someone else said that when I talked about the snack thing early on, that the bread is cake. Question not related to the trip or food. Bravern? I haven't watched today's. I still would kind of like to not talk about last week's either, because this didn't happen, but I was worried. Because I watched last week's in the Quality Inn over some Jack in the Box takeout. And I was like, this gonna get spoiled to some people at TFcon, isn't it? But everyone I talked to at TFcon, who I gave the warning to, were like, no, thanks for the warning, but no, I haven't heard anything. I was like, good. So nobody spoiled it. So, hell yeah. But yeah, I would say let's leave Bravern on a 4-week buffer for now. That's what I would say. Let's leave it on a 4-week buffer, because not everyone, especially right now, not everyone's going to want to buy in on Crunchyroll. And I don't know if, like, how the non-official subbing scene is looking for Bravern at the moment. Let's let it cook. Like, I understand that there are some things that, like, official companies already spoiled within 24 hours, but because of that, let's just leave it. Let's leave it alone a little bit more. Let's leave it alone just a little bit more. Oh God, with this Jack in the Box and delicacy, I asked on the disc. I was like, "What's the fancy Jack in the Box stuff?" And it's like, "Do they have the Crave boxes?" And someone was like, "The Crave boxes are no longer any good." And by that point, I'd already bought the ultimate bacon cheeseburger because it's the final one. It was normal. I had the matzo sticks with it. The cheese tasted kind of funny, actually. I understand why the cheese tasted funny, but like, it was different. Like y'all's processed plastic cheese, like, it got tentier. It's got more tent to its taste. What happened? What did you all do? Like, no, it was Jack in the Box cheese, but like, I know processed cheese, but that was different. Like I said, it was tenty. Not 20, tent-y. Not 2010-y. Oh my god. Tenty. Yeah, there. It was tenty. Okay, this is a Jack issue. Okay. Yeah, because the matzo sticks tasted more like normal cheese. The burger cheese was, like, weird. It was fine. I ate the burger, but it was like, it had this lagged aftertaste. And it was on the last bite of the burger where I was like, what the fu-? Like, suddenly all the tentiness hit me at once. Matzo sticks. Did it say matzo sticks? I meant mozzarella sticks. Yeah, there we go. If I say it with the accent, it gets it. They shave off chunks of Play-Doh. Ech. Listen, the live closed captions, I'm still figuring this out. For instance, I don't really know why it sometimes isn't showing everything, and it's only showing a little bit. But, we got to work with what we have. Calling them matzo sticks feels French? That's just what we call them in Canada. Where it's like it's called mozzarella sticks on the menu, but when you walk in, you're like, "Hey, buddy, I want some matzo sticks, buddy." Like when you're in Canada. Yeah, Zero. That's exactly it. Quote, Jack burgers are weird in that each bite is less enjoyable than the previous, so by the end you're like, I don't know if I want this last bite. That's how I felt. And I couldn't understand it, and the best way I can explain it, it was the cheese, and it's because the cheese was tenty. It had tentness to it. I'm not knocking it, I'm going to end up doing it too, yeah. Yeah, when I went to buy, so when I was at the Quality Inn, I was like, I'm probably not going to go to the Marriott, but I was like, I'm going to go, I got to go across the street to the gas station to get some Coke Zeros, and then I'm going to go to Jack in the Box. So I went across the street to the gas station to get some Coke Zeros. I walked in, and the guy went, oh, no, please, you can't come in here. You have to go through the window. I'm like, all right. So I get my 4 Cokes, because it was 2 for $3. So yes, I bought 4 small bottles of Coke. I'm a normal person. And then immediately afterwards, an angry gas station customer began to start an incident. And I was like, it sure is a good thing I got my Cokes, and I left. There was also a wandering blanket man on that corner, who I was trying to avoid because he kind of had just enough swagger where I was like, he might try to blanket me. So I was trying to avoid the blanket man. So I went to the Jack in the Box was in the parking lot of my hotel, so it felt like it was destiny. And inside the Jack in the Box, there was a man in like he looked like he was dressed like a gnome and a marching band leader, and he had a very cushy white beard, and he seemed to be very intent on what he was doing, and I kind of felt secure in there. Pulu, I'm honestly surprised how less shady Burbank was. Once you got out to the Quality Inn area, it's kind of like that's where some of the shade sort of crept in. Like I said, I had a bullet hole in my window. Sorry, a bird hole in my window. For those of you who weren't here at the start of the stream, here, I'll pull it up again. Just, what greeted me when I parted the curtains of my window in the Quality Inn. Oh yeah, Picky Peas. My biggest savior, as far as my money, was I had no checked bags. I only had my carry-ons. And I was getting Wingman, who is in a very large cereal box. So I had, like, hard physical limitations on what I could bring home. Well, that's the thing. This was only in the outer pane of glass. It wasn't full ventilation. The inner pane of glass was fine. I guess they replaced it. But, oh, it's that Jax. I figure it's fine to share this now, because, like, whatever, I'm not staying in that hotel. You can go visit if you like. You saw the Blanket Man! Yeah! The Blanket Man was kind of, he had a patrol route. He was also by the gas station. It's funny, I had friends at the Ramada, and I was like, the Blanket Man, and they're like, oh, we know the Blanket Man! Yeah! So everyone was kind of blessed by the Blanket Man. Jack's strongest guardian. When I first saw the Blanket Man, he was just forehead against the window staring into the Jacks before he moved on. He was like looking for villains. Reactivate Optimus is good. I think that about does it for my TFcon debrief. I can't think of anything else that isn't like kind of gross gossip. Which is to say, there wasn't any real gross gossip. There was just I had an encounter with a weird old man who wanted to talk about shooting deer. Yeah, actually, all of my gross gossip is just in relation to the deer man. But that doesn't impact any of your lives. So I guess yeah, any grade 1 to 10. Oh, this was like easily like a 9. When it comes to grading conventions, I'm also one of the ones who's like, you got to do a hell of a friggin' lot to get a 10. So this was an easy 9, easy 9. Sea Striker, you missed hearing about my friend giving Vangelis an autograph. Possibly? Tell me the details. I don't think I talked about... I did talk about something I have that was signed, but I was, That was some little Godzillas. That was sort of a side thing to the Transformer stuff. But yeah, I had a great time. I think that every single person involved in this convention, from attendee to staff, was not ready for how packed this convention was. This was an unbelievable amount of people, which meant everything happening, especially on Sunday, was elevated tenfold by the number of human bodies that were present. Because all the Frank Welker and Peter Cullen autograph, photo, etc. sessions, they were all on the Sunday. So that meant Sunday was bonkers bananas. Oh, you're friends with the designer who gifted me the Godzillas. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Yes. They're not in here with me right now. They're in the other room, but they're going to be out when I do the toy stream another day. Those Godzillas, by the way, are a spoiler for some Godzilla movie, but my understanding is they were the ones... That was specifically the toys that dropped the spoiler first, before the trailers started to hint at things, so I'm assuming anyone who cares already knows about that stuff. Any idea when that stream will be? It's a good question. It's probably not going to be tomorrow. Because the next 3 days, I'm keeping a little open because Breakout Con is happening. I might want to go check out a day of that, but also I might have some Gaming with Friends Day during that. I'm not sure. It's still up in the air. I should say, for everyone who's... I'm noticing a couple names I don't recognize entirely from before. I'm streaming a lot more than I used to, but I'm still not on, like, a hard schedule. So, I usually try to announce streams at least a few hours in advance, if not a day in advance, when I know I can do something the next day. But it's a little fire from the hip still. I do have VODs always going up. So, unfortunately, with the way YouTube works, your best bet is to check on, right now, my Instagram or Blue Sky, where I will talk about having done a stream, and then you can check the live tab to see the VOD. I still don't know how VODs are surfaced in subscription feeds. I don't think they are, outside of when it decides to put them in the recommend. It's a whole... I'm already feeling like a dumbass even trying to explain it. But I mean, you're all on this site. You know what I'm talking about, right? What's my Blue Sky? It should just be Vangelis. Let me go double check. Yeah, it's vangelis.bsky.social. So if you go on Blue Sky and look up Vangelis, you'll find me pretty fast. I still have a Twitter account. I'm just not using it that much anymore. I post my Toy Hacks code on there. Los Vangelis this month. Let me put that into the chat. Hang on, my keyboard has to wake up. I got a Bluetooth keyboard, and sometimes it just doesn't want to work right when it wakes up. Alright, so it's one word, Los Vangelis, if you want 15% off on Toy Hacks. I get a small kickback from that. It feeds the machine, as the ad spot says. But yeah, my Twitter, I post the code on there, I retweet some folks on there. Every now and then I'll do a reply to someone, but I stopped posting I stopped posting about new videos on Twitter, and noticed that my video traffic didn't really change for the better or for the worse. So I decided that there's no real point using it as an advertising thing outside of the Toy Hacks code, because that's a very direct one-for-one thing. And I got no judgment on people who are still on there, but I'm just like, I don't like it there anymore, so I've just been on Blue Sky. The only thing I'm losing out on is audio-video garbage posting. I can't do that yet. But otherwise, that's the main thing I've been on. And I've been trying to figure out more regular ways to use Instagram. So yes, that's the long answer. Like, if you want to know about streams, check on there and check the live tab So I'm still trying to keep everything like nicely up to date everywhere that I can. I'm also trying. I have to go back and do a bunch of them still, but I'm trying from at least a certain point onwards, in the long run, to put chapter markings on all the stream VODs. So if you are a VOD watcher, you ideally will eventually be able to pick and choose your moments without having to like watch through an entire stream. If you just want to like, you know, oh, where did he talk about like Saturday TFcon, or you know, in the extra live streams, where did he sing? You know, like it'll be clearly marked in the chapter markings. Yeah, like I've used Twitter for group DMs more recently because of the LA trip. But otherwise, yeah, I'm kind of just hiding out, retweeting some people. Robot Lorekeeper, I see your VODs in my sub feed. Okay, I was curious if those ever show up. Because I know that they don't always show up, and yeah, when you're on my page, you have to go to the live tab, which is, I kind of get it, but I think it's really dumb. Like, it's still incredibly unintuitive if you don't know that you're already supposed to be looking in that tab. I feel like the auto subtitles make it a bit easier to scrub around looking for specific talking points. Yeah, that's my hope too. Like, they are definitely not perfect, but I figure they're better than nothing, and I think that they, in general, are still better than the YouTube auto closed captioning. So, you know, doing. I don't know why I'm holding on this bullet in the this bullet hole in the window. I just got to go and prepare something in my my track list here. But I think we're gonna start winding down. In general, as I said, TFcon LA is super fun. All the panels went great. The YouTuber panel went without any negative incident. It went with an eventual positive incident, which is, you know, the best thing you can ask for. And it's transfover. That's hard to say. But yeah, I will definitely be posting on various platforms when the panel video is up, and when the Why Do We Enjoy the Toy for 40 Years video is up. So keep an eye out for those, and wherever it ends up, you know, like, be nice. That's my general thing. Like, the more, because I've been collaborating more and more lately. I should say, because this happened like during TFcon LA, so it might have maybe been lost in the shuffle a bit. Just about a week ago, Commodin Cam posted a new video that was ranking a bunch of Scorponok designs, and basically that was a collaboration with me. He brought me into a call, and we kind of talked through Scorponoks, and then he edited the whole thing. So you should check that out. It was fun. We had a good time chatting. So go hit that up too. But yeah, as I'm collaborating more and more with people, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and none of y'all are being weird about it. But I always want to put it out there of, like, you know, as streams kind of cross and crisscross and stuff, you know, always try to be cool, try to be nice, you know. That's my general wish and request. And you all are doing a great job of it. So, you know, keep kicking ass. Anyway, as I prepare to move along, a load of hoopla. You should collab with someone on a Godzilla review IMO. Man, that's a good idea. Like, I could talk about Shin Godzilla, I guess. But like, what kind of format would I use? Like a talking to the camera thing? I guess I could rent a set. Because, I mean, this, as long as, you know, once we finish and we go and hit up, you know, maybe a pub or something afterwards, as long as, like, nothing weirdly world-affecting for the coming decade happens that same night, it would be completely normal and fine and good. So that's a good idea. Yeah, in Toronto. In Toronto. That was a messed up day. That was a messed up day. Yeah, that'd be crazy. That would never happen. Anyway, I'm going to actually try something new here. So, we don't have raids on YouTube streaming. So what I'm going to say is, I'm about to head into my little end of stream thing. When we're all done here, you should keep it... if everything's ready, at least, you should keep an eye out for things. Oh, actually, I have one more picture I can share. Just to close the book on this. In case you want to see what a yellowed Dinobot looks like. This is in the wrong thing. Hang on. Let's quickly throw back over to here. Okay, last question. Yep.
Alright, so hello.
Hi. Hello.
And is Rumble red?
Yes.
Or is it
Okay, anyway. Here's a yellowed Dinobot in case you want to see what one of those looks like. I really liked that was like the question that like got in just at the very end, you know, at the last minute. And then it was just specifically the exact kind of question that I could just cut in on and ruin everything. Yeah, this one is more of just like, I didn't think the plastic could discolor. Like, calling it yellowed is almost a misnomer. It's just different. It just went weird. Yeah, he looks like he's got a sickly pallor. Anyway, I'm posting a link in the chat. This is where I want you all to check out once the stream is done. We can't raid, so instead I'm just going to try to manually guide you in a direction. Over towards this, which is an army of bees who's starting to do some of his own extra life streaming tonight. Bees has got a whole plan for the year. It's all based around the Arkham games. And it begins tonight. Now, Bees is on Andy Roo's Gaming Gang. Wait, can we raid on YouTube? Hoops, if you know how I can raid on YouTube, you will seriously be my Thursday night hero. How the hell do the VTubers do it? Where's the button? I'm gonna find this thing. That's Q&A, that's a poll. Please ask your good friend Gargura. Evantainment, hello. This is just the tail end of the stream. I'm trying to figure out how to throw to another stream. Wait, if I can actually... I didn't know that I thought the VTubers on Twitch do it, but, like... I didn't know that all the corpos on YouTube were able to do it, too. Oh, I'm dropping words. Whoa. Where the hell would the button be? Let me go check the stream backend site. I'm gonna get their friggin' VTuber secrets one of these. Almost went a whole stream without talking about VTubers, but god damn it. I threw in a quick Numicore in there, no one caught it. Now I'm friggin'... Where is my VTuber button? I'm sorry, Evan. There's gonna be a video on demand VOD of this whole thing that you can watch once we're finished. Alan Weaver, I'm pretty sure it's only Twitch. People on YouTube are basically like, buy YouTube. I'm gonna Google this. Hang on. How do I raid stream on YouTube? Redirects. Live redirect. I'm just seeing a whole... How to enable live... Okay. These are all videos, so I'm not going to watch them because it's going to be a minute of them going like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about something a lot of us use on YouTube. Okay, YouTube live redirects. It's already an autocomplete. Send your audience to the live stream or premiere of your choice using a live redirect. We're going to solve this right now. Okay. Where's this simple guide? Here we go, YouTube. With the live redirect feature. What is this Web 3.0 garbage? What? Okay. You can't see what I'm looking at, but I'm... Control F. I can't Control F redirect. That's... I gave you all the link anyway, but I'm gonna figure this out. This is the precursor to the stream where I try to learn how Stream Elements or, works, or whatever. I was looking into it last night, and I was like, this seems complicated. You know, I could solve this. Batman. Okay, what if I turn one of the... Okay, support dog Google. It's just showing me videos. It's just showing me videos. Customization, redirect ad. Okay, we're... Stream settings. It's also cool if you just go to Bees' stream. It's fine too. I just wanna... I wanna figure this out. It's... Whoa. Oh! Oh! What if I put a URL in? Redirect privileges needed. Ask an army of bees to add you to their live redirect list in community settings. We have to do other stuff. Where is that? Wait, so I have to pre-approve who can redirect to me? I can't believe I found it. I found it. This is now called the Hoopla maneuver. Okay, so I can go to Studio, Settings, Community. Oh, okay, live redirects. All channels can redirect to my stuff. Do I want to do that? Okay, I have channels I subscribe to can redirect to my stuff, which I believe includes bees. Happy birthday, Hoopla. You saved streaming Christmas. Okay, I'm subscribed to Army of Bees. I'm not going to stream YouTube Studio, but Bees, if you can hear this, if you go into your YouTube Studio, and at the bottom, you click Settings, and then in that, Community, then scroll down, Live Redirects. Maybe I'll just say all, because I can't see how that's a problem. I can't see a... Okay, I don't see how in my little space it would be a problem if I just say all channels can redirect to me. Because I can change this later if I start getting invaded by, like, 6-inch collectors. So I'm just going to say all channels can redirect to me. I'm going to leave it at that. And then we'll see what happens. But, Bees, I think you need to set it so that channels can redirect. You can put mine in too if you want to be specific. But if you can hit that button, then we can actually do this. All right, you hit it, and I'm going to turn this music on. So we still have an end of show. So it's still like the end of a stream. It's still like the end of a stream. But now... Hang on, but now... I have to restart this whole thing. Okay, redirect to add. Oh, it still wants redirect privileges. Do I have to refresh the page? We're gonna make this work. Let me try an F5. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. There we go. Redirect. Save. Okay, the redirect is in place. I don't know how that manifests here on YouTube. So at some point, I assume something pops up telling you to go there. I don't really know what's gonna happen next. All I know is that we've changed the paradigm. Thanks to the Hoopla maneuver, on this Hoopla Day, we may have finally cracked the code. Genuinely, I don't know how the redirect manifests to you as a viewer. Maybe it's when the stream ends. You stay here and it will auto-flow to the next channel. Perfect. Then that means my job is done. I'll see you all on the other side. On the other side. I see you now. Between the barrier of bees and fee.
Let them come.